Welcome to the Ballin' for God podcast. It's our fourth episode. It's gonna be a month now, Travis. We are doing it for a month now, and
The big show.
the big show has been going for a month now, and I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Been actually just had a guy message me saying he likes the podcast, and we've had a lot of outreach, people liking it. I'm happy that people are enjoying it.
Russ, this is our fourth show. It's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm thankful you'd allow me to come on here with you and doing this together, a little joint venture, bringing the past with the future, bring it together. It's a lot of fun. Today's going to be a great episode. A lot of your mentor, a friend of mine, another friend of mine, and then a friend of yours to finish it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Why don't you just kind of break down who's going to be on today?
Well, we got three big names. A lot of people know these guys. Darren Kinnard. I think everybody that's watching this right now, you have to know him. WSIL for many years.
26 years, WSIL.
Section 618 at Withers Broadcasting. And then you had River Radio now where he's at. And
Sports Central. Darren Kinnard, his name is synonymous with Southern Illinois sports. Southern Illinois sports, people think Darren Kinnard.
Yes, exactly. And you also had Brad Wilson on, a longtime referee, football player, legend. And then guess what? He's cross-country coach now. And then he's got many different job titles along with that.
Brad Wilson will be on the show. Brad Wilson, school board member, District 47 in Benton. He's been on it forever. We actually got on it together in 2008, so 17 years he's been a school board member. Franklin County board member, was a youth pastor, works for Department of Corrections at Big Muddy, cross-country coach at Benton, roofs houses. Brad Wilson is a busy man. Referees basketball and football. He's a good dude. And then the last but not least,
Cale Maurer, Mount Vernon basketball player. His dad was a Mount Vernon basketball player, and he's a solid basketball player. Coming back with a lot of experience. He's going to be a third-year starter this year.
I'm excited to talk to him.
And 2 years under his belt already, and he's coming into his last year. Senior year. A lot of expectations for seniors, and he's going to be a good one this year.
Yeah, they're already 2-0. The Rams are. And when this comes out Thursday night, they've got a great team. I'm excited to see how the South 7 is going to shake out.
No doubt.
Centralia. I don't know who these guys are. You pick in Carbondale, but I don't know who these guys are. You pick every week to kind of rank these teams and stuff. But I'm telling you what, Centralia, Mount Vernon, Carbondale, Marion, the South 7's deep.
Yes, and they've been receiving the votes each week, and there's a reason why. South 7 basketball is something different. They got something in the water. Jefferson County basketball is something in the water.
Jefferson County basketball, we talked about it. We're going to talk about it, but Waltonville, Woodlawn. Waltonville just wins the Turkey tournament.
For third straight year.
You've got Woodlawn's playing great. Weber, just lost that tough game to Waltonville, but they'll get to play them again here this year. So, yeah. And then the Mount Vernon Rams. Jefferson County basketball is as good as anywhere in the state right now for an entire county.
Yes, I would put them up against most counties in the state. As a Southern Illinois guy, I'd put them up against all counties because I love Southern Illinois.
I love Southern Illinois too, and I'm just thinking about this as we're doing the intro to the big show. Where in the world did this Afghan come from? Because how did this thing get in? Doc Young, how did this get in the shot? Who put this in the shot? I got to know. I was laying on it earlier and didn't know what it was, and now I look over and it's here.
Was it comfortable?
It was great, man. Wren Lake Cabins in the Woods.
Cabin 10.
Cabin 10, Wren Lake Cabins in the Woods. It doesn't get much better than this.
No doubt.
It's comfy.
Cozy. You come here and you get ready to come hunt.
Cold. It's 53 degrees in here.
We got to save the electric in here.
Have you been in the back rooms yet?
I'm not allowed.
Go back there.
Not allowed. What's next, Russ?
So let's talk about trivia.
Trivia.
So let's do a little recap. We got three guys that have already won. They're coming on soon. Just scheduling hasn't matched up. Actually, one of our guys are coming on next week. And but Carson Hobbs won it last week.
Carson Hobbs was our winner.
And he guessed where was Ron Weinmiller's first head coaching gig. And the Ziegler-Royalton Tornadoes.
ZR Tornadoes was Ronnie Weinmiller's first head coaching job. He was there for 1 year. Then he left and went to AC, went to Forreston. Eventually matriculated, went all over the place. Was down at Marshall County. Was at Fairfield.
Yep.
Was at Marshall County. And eventually became the Benton Rangers head basketball coach. He's been there
17 years.
Almost your whole life.
Yes, pretty well my whole life. That's all I've known. Obviously, I know Coach Heron, but that's all I've known is Ron Weinmiller. But one of our guests coming on in the future is Ryan Gadisky, and he actually got to play for Ron at ZR.
He did.
And but a couple of our other winners, just flashback. TJ Spencer guessed
Yes.
how many South 7 titles did Rich Heron win in 25 years? 11. That's in a 25-year span, 11.
That's unbelievable. I mean, it really is.
Marion, they just tied. It's just a tie. They tied the South 7 title for Mount Vernon, Centralia, and Marion. They tied last year. That's the first time Marion got a share of it in 37 years.
Unreal.
And then first week we had the great Mike Root on here.
Oh, Big Mike.
Iron
Mike.
Where and when was his first playoff appearance as the head coach, and it was the Marion Wildcats in 1985.
Yes.
But now let's get into our trivia question for this week. And Travis, do you want to kick it off here?
Hey, we'll take more. We got a new sponsor.
With a new sponsor.
New sponsor, All Stars and Stitches. I know the guy really well.
Who is
Dave. Big Dave. Big Dave Severin is probably Penny Severin's allowing this, but they're going to be the sponsor of our trivia now each week. And so All Stars and Stitches is our trivia sponsor. And this week's trivia question, Russ hit me with it, and I love it. This year, Gage Peterson was a back-to-back MVP of the Christopher Turkey Tournament. Mm-hmm. When was the last time someone was a back-to-back MVP? We want the name too?
Who and when was it?
Who and when was it? Who and when was it? Last time someone, not now with Gage Peterson, last time someone was a back-to-back MVP of the Christopher Turkey Tournament. And if you get that, we'll love to have you on. But just so you know, this is the shameless promoter I am. I'm definitely Dave's son. For all your screen printing, embroidery, banners, signs, and award needs, it's not too late to order something for Christmas. You can call All Stars and Stitches. And just like the commercial used to be with Rich Heron, call 435-555-555-555. That's All Stars and Stitches at 435
555-555. I mean, that's iconic.
It's the iconic commercial with the king, Rich Heron. But that's our trivia question, sponsored by All Stars and Stitches. Our trivia question, and we'll talk about it later in the show as well.
All right. Well, now we're gonna get into our interviews. I mean, it was awesome. We got Darren Kinnard on tap, and get ready for it.
Sounds great. Thanks for being on.
All right, now we're moving on to our first guest of the show, and it's a big one. You guys, everybody should know him. Darren Kinnard, he worked at WSIL for many years, Withers Broadcasting, River Radio.
River or River?
River Radio. Now we'll just kick it over to him and just introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are.
No, I'm.
Who are you?
I'm. Well, it depends. I mean, do I owe you money? So no. I'm Darren Kinnard. Been in the Southern Illinois media for 30-some years now.
How many?
30-some. So no, I graduated Southern, and the day before I graduated from SIU, I was hired at WSIL as a news photographer. And that was not what was the goal necessarily, but it was a job in the business. And when you're graduating, you take a job in the business, even if it's not what you want. And so I spent roughly the first year shooting news stories and that. And by and large, I mean, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed shooting features and stuff like that. I did not enjoy spot news. That was I couldn't do that, long term. And an opportunity came along. They added a third sports position, and long story short is I took it, even though it was part-time. It didn't matter to me. I mean, I was 23, and insurance didn't mean anything to me at that point. But eventually the weekend anchor at the time, Lonte, he went to Lon, L-O-N. He went to Decatur, and the position opened up, the weekend anchor, and moved up to that. And eventually I was able to move up to sports director, and I spent better part of probably 13 years as the sports director at WSIL, and left there in the fall of 19. and joined Withers, and we started a high school sports website, section618.com. And then a couple years ago, the guys at River Radio came and said, "Hey, we want you to come do that for us." And I've always told my kids and my work kids, you always listen, and and I listened, and it was an opportunity that I felt like I needed to take at that point, and it's been great. And so we started River Radio Sports Central, which is it's a high school website, but this year we've kind of added a little more Saluki coverage, a little more JUCO coverage, just kind of maybe filling a void that's out there, just with sports content in the region. So,
Darren, here's my first thing for you. Obviously, I've known you a long, long time. Russ will eventually be where we're at, but we both graduated from SIU. My parents, they think I graduated. I think I graduated. But, Russ and I obviously graduated from Benton High School. We talked about this just before we went on, Kinmundy High School, but kind of talk about how growing up in a small town kind of led you into what you do still.
Yeah, and I was in the last graduating class at Kinmundy-Ama in 1989 before they consolidated with Frina LaGrove to become South Central, and my wife was in that first graduating class of South Central, so we've got both covered. But yeah, I mean, it was we didn't have football, and the going joke about Cobden being undefeated in football. Kinmundy was far, they were undefeated long before Cobden was in football. But it was baseball and it was basketball, and that was, again, it was in an area that it was a big deal if the Salem Times Commoner showed up to the game.
Sure.
And so when I came to, in where I grew up, we lived out in the country, and we had the antenna and the rotor, and I know that's
he doesn't.
He has no clue what that I'm talking about there, but it's okay. I'm old.
No rabbit ears.
I'm old, and it's fine. I wear it.
You embrace it.
But we had a rotor, and so I could get WSIL, and so, and I always tell Kiesling this is like, I grew up watching you, and just to make him feel older. But I did. I mean, I watched what they did, and so I had an idea, and so I went 2 years to Kaskaskia, transferred to Southern for a couple years, and from there it was, I got hired at 3 and carrying on from there.
It's awesome. Brad, I'm just going to tell you this because we can edit this later. Yeah, we just don't want you to be in the shot. Not that we don't want you to be in the shot later, but Darren's, he's,
Am I out of the way over here?
yeah, you're out of the way over there.
Well, Darren, obviously, kind of like for you growing up watching Mark, I grew up watching you at WSIL, and so it's been fun. Ever since I was a little kid, I had an idea of wanting to do it, and then I'd reached out to you, I think, right before freshman year, my freshman year, and watched
Freshman year of high school.
Freshman year of high school, and all those live streams I watched, and I don't know, it was real fun getting to be around that and go all 4 years of high school being around it, and then now being able to still do it. It's real fun.
Well, I mean, one of the things that when we started Section 618 and carried over to River Radio is I wanted to create a student correspondent network. Mm-hmm. And it was really multifaceted. And one, I'm just one dude. I can't be everywhere. And so it would enable me to get some content from places that I couldn't be. But then from the student perspective, there were 3 things that it could do. Is like, if somebody in your situation, you think this is what you want to do, and you get to kind of try it on and go, oh, okay, I really want to do that. Or you might think this is what you want to do, and you try it on, and you're like, ooh, that ain't it. And you decide to go a different direction. Or 3, it's fun. Yeah. You get to go to the games and,
Get in free.
You get in free and whether it's, that was the thing, is that whether it was somebody that's taking pictures, somebody that liked to write, somebody that, maybe wanted to do the TV side of it or the video production side of it. I mean, there are all these aspects. And I have no rules. And that was my whole thing and my wife would get a kick out of when I would say that, but I had no rules. And so and I just kind of put it out there. Hey, if there are students that would be interested in this, I was willing to help out in the schools, or if they wanted to start a club or whatever. And, at that point, we started Section 618 and we launched Thanksgiving week because we had 2 teams in the state football finals. And so we get in there, and so now we get to basketball season and we're cooking. This is going really well. And Goreville is going to state, and the bigger schools are getting ready to, and then all of a sudden COVID, and let me just say that when you've started a high school sports website and there is no high school sports,
that's tough.
That's dicey, and but at the same point though, that kind of put the crimp on the student correspondent stuff because
Sure.
it was such chaos with the school stuff. But you were the one that stuck with it. My very first student correspondent actually is Dylan Chambers. Wow. And if that name doesn't ring a bell, and I've joked, is you better write it down because he's going to be president one day. He's the young man from Metropolis that at 19 got voted onto their city council.
Oh, wow.
And he went to Southern and was the guy that was president of the Dog Pound for the past couple of years, whatever. But anyway, he was my very first student correspondent, and that was pretty cool. And then you came along, and he was a senior. And the best part is you were a freshman, and I was like, yeah, he's going to be around for 4 years if he sticks with it, and you have. And and my thing is that you remember I told you will walk into Southern knowing more than anybody else in the program. I will make sure of that. And I don't know how deep as far as you've gotten in some of your classes, but the teaching part of it's always been something that I've really enjoyed. And we always had a lot of younger people that worked with us at WSIL and kind of tutoring them to get better and then sprout their wings and go their way. It was always cool for me to watch folks that I helped. And again, they did the heavy lifting. I just kind of pointed out some things, because I was like, I'm not taking any credit for what you did. I just kind of helped in a direction. And so,
Darren, I'm going to take you back a little bit. Brad just walked in the door, and he'll understand this because you were probably talking about Brad when he was playing for Benton. Let's talk about Russell's not born yet. Dr. Young's not born yet. You're just a couple years older than I am. And I'm not even going to talk about like when we did radio stuff together, Saturday morning talking sports, fifth quarter, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to talk the height of its glory, Sports Extra in the 90s and 2000s. How awesome was it?
Honestly, you asked me earlier if I missed it. I miss Friday nights. And it's not that I'm not doing the same stuff. And in some ways, I enjoy what I'm doing now more because I get to stay to the end of games. I never got to stay to the end of games.
No, you're hightailing out of there.
But what I took great pride in is, Sports Extra was before me.
Sure.
But then, when we took over and you just felt like he kept trying to raise that bar. And, my last season, so to speak, of Sports Extra, we had gotten to the point where we had 3 people in the department, so we had 3 sports people, but we were sending out 4 other people. So we were having 7 shooters go out on Friday night, and when you don't have a big staff overall, that's a pretty big percentage. Yeah. And so it went to the point of I still remember one day getting an email from Bonnie Wheeler, because on Thursday nights I would run the Sports Extra menu, show you what games we were covering. And she sent me an email and she's like, "You're covering 10 games?" She's like, "I remember when we covered 4."
Oh yeah.
And it was like you put it out there. This is the level that people began to expect. And, I wanted it that way because I felt like that, we just kept trying to do more and trying to do more. And then, mentioning some of those people, when I watched Brett Behrens go to WCIA
Sure.
and then basically do what we were doing and then do it on steroids up there, I mean, it was incredible. And it was like, I'm kind of like a, proud dad,
Sure.
work dad. But again, it's just that, you just wanted to do more. And
Who started Sports Extra? Do you remember?
well, Mark and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Dave Crome,
Yeah.
and then they had their third guy at the time, I believe, Brad White. Was
We're
his
going way
name.
back.
Yeah, I mean that was before Lon.
Yeah.
and because Lon was a year ahead of me at Southern,
Sure.
and
Great tan.
Yeah, and so. It was before Lon even. So we're talking like 90-ish probably. So
It's
so it
changed
dated-
so much.
Yeah, and and that was the thing is that you always think you're doing it the right way, or you wouldn't do it that way, right?
Sure.
But the feedback that I got when I left 3 kind of solidified that we did it right, and it was a big we, because I was just talking with a former coworker, Maddie Sattler, the other day, and we were having a similar discussion. I missed the Friday nights because, I mean, it was utter chaos, but it was a blast. I mean, we had 7 people going out and covering 10 to 12 games, and everybody's coming back at 9:30, and it's a fire drill, and it's somebody's got to get scores, and somebody, everybody's doing their part, and then it doesn't matter the chaos that's going on at 10:24 when they point at you. It's time.
It's live.
And
It's live.
And look, there were some nights that were better than others. Some nights, ended up being a train wreck. But you just tried to minimize those nights. But again, at the end of the night, you cleaned up, and then the whole group went to Applebee's for half price appetizers. I hope you can get those guys for a sponsor. But I mean, it was that team. I mean, everybody had to do their particular part to make that what it was. And yes, back when it was Mark and I, or when it was Maddie and me, and
What about Barry Hyatt? Where's Barry Hyatt?
Barry is down in Tennessee, I think.
I'm throwing names out there. Sorry.
Names you probably don't recall, but no, and it was that was a blast though. But when I go back to talking about the student part of it, we had 2 SIU students come to job shadow us one day, and they came on a Friday night. And one thought it was the greatest thing she'd ever seen, and the other changed her major on Monday.
I remember that story.
Wow.
Again, equally important.
Sure.
Equally important. And the one that changed had a tremendous career at what she's doing, and
Probably an accountant.
and the other one, she had some time in the news business and has since gotten out. But again, those types of things, seeing it firsthand and experiencing it.
You can't put a price tag on that.
No, not at all.
Looking back, not specifically because of the games or whatever, but what's your favorite night from being there? Going down to the wire, trying to get it onto the live broadcast.
It was. I was the weekend anchor at the time, so Mark would, he was the one that kind of manned the overall stuff, and it was regional final. At Massac County, which you guys all know how far that is from WSIL.
Can't get there from here.
It's it's probably 50 minutes, 45 in a news car. So goes double overtime. Now at that point, regional started at 7:30, and I had made the decision that if it went to a third overtime, I had to go. I couldn't stay any longer. So I left Metropolis, Massac County High School. I left at 9:25. Now this was the old days of tape to tape editing.
All police don't listen right now.
Well, no.
You weren't driving too fast?
Well, no. I mean, there are limits, especially on those roads.
Oh, yes.
So again, this is tape to tape. Now, I had in my mind what 5 shots I was going to use for highlights. I knew I couldn't do a ton with it. And again, I'm in like I'm not in my shirt and tie. So I get into the edit bay, cue up the tape, and hit edit. And when the old school, not this, it would rewind and then it would take the edit. Well, while it's doing that, I take the shirt off. And again, I'm the only one that's not involved. Everybody else is out in the newscast.
Is there a timer going on?
Cue up the second shot. Put the shirt on, cue up the 3rd shot, button, cue up the 4th shot, tuck, 5th shot, tie, bam. I walk out on set at 10, and I was so jacked. I mean, and it was one of those nights that you just killed it. And I was so pumped, and it went great. It was phenomenal, had great highlights. And then after the cast, you're sitting down and you catch your breath and you start thinking about all the things that could have gone wrong when you leave Metropolis at 9:25 and was on the air at 10:25. And so that was probably the most memorable local escapade that I could point to. There were obviously a couple others that early on. Johnson City beat Sesser on a final pass play in football. Billy Kendrick to Keith Stefan for the game-winning touchdown. Ross Babington was the coach at Sesser and at that point in time. And so I got it, and then it was like everybody's leaving Johnson City High School at the same time. And so I'm trying to find the back roads around.
New or old high school?
No, I mean, it's the high school was, it was...
Yeah.
The high school was the same play. The field was, but it was, you're trying to back around, trying to get around the traffic, and and so there's certain things that you kind of stick out. And I think that might have been 94. That might have been 93 or 94. So
I was in high school, but they.
What was the score of that game? Do you remember?
16-12, I think.
Wow.
Here's my question for you, Darren. I thought a bomb was going off there for a while. What is that noise?
I think
Dr. Young, is that the ice maker?
I
thought I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know. Okay, sorry.
I think it was the fan, maybe.
Maybe the fan. I don't know.
No, it was the ice man.
Oh, it was okay.
Edit that out.
Nah, we'll keep it on. Makes it more interesting. But we're all Southern Illinois guys. Here's my question for you. When you were young, did you think you wanted to do this? Was there something in your life that shaped that you wanted to be in sports broadcasting or on air or?
Yeah, I mean, I always enjoyed sports, and obviously wasn't good enough to play beyond high school, and it wasn't very good in high school. So, and it was a way to, it was something that I had always been interested in. I joked about, learning how to count, watching basketball games and count by twos and things like that. And I'm so old that it was kind of pre 3-point range, but that's. But I mean, it's always been something that wanted to be a part of, and that was the way to do it, was to do, and you watch, when I would watch things, and being not necessarily a normal high school kid, not being a news consumer or a local sports consumer, but being able to watch. We would get our primary channels out of St. Louis, so you could see that stuff. But then I could turn the antenna and watch, Mark. I could sometimes pick up 6, but if you turned it around, you could get out of Evansville or Terre Haute. And so, again, just kind of seeing that local, that local sports presence, and I'm like, I can do that. And I felt like that. Look, Southern had a great radio TV program, and I thought that was going to be a great fit, and it turned out that it was. And the radio TV program, and it's different now. Of course, it's been 35 years, but but I mean, the thing that was so good was the live experience. You cannot replicate live. No. And he and I have had this conversation is, you can't, live is different in the fact
Sure.
that you can sit there and you can have, if you're recording it, you can tell yourself, okay, just like when you're in the backyard doing the countdown, 3, 2, 1, doing the buzzer beater. Well, if you don't make it, well then you do it again. And
Nobody knows.
It's the same. It's the same thing. Oh, there's a foul. I mean, it's the same thing. You get to redo it, but when you're actually, there is no way to replicate a live shot or anchoring live, and what it did at Southern, that experience was the fact that it was also students doing all the behind the scenes stuff too. So they're learning, and so if things went south, you just got to deal with it,
Sure.
and you figure out how to roll with the punches, and that served me well more than once. At my time at WSIL, and again, everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. I mean, it's not. There's not perfect broadcast. Even if you watch ESPN, there's still, you don't see many, but there again,
Sure.
everybody, there's a human element, and that training that I got at Southern was huge. So
Talk about you talked about your beginning of sports media, what you did at SIU, but talk about the changing of sports media. As for me, I got into it a much different way. I mean, it's somewhat similar, but I got into it a lot younger, and I got to work with it in a different way. Not working with WSIL like you did, or at the college. Just talk about how it's changed, and do you think there's more or less opportunities for kids now?
Well, I think it depends. I mean, the nature of the beast, and I'm not going to get on the soapbox of corporate killing local journalism, because that's a whole other 2-hour show that you probably don't want to mess with. But in this day and age, honestly, younger journalists have a chance to get to bigger markets quicker than the old days. Like when I was coming up through the ranks, and it's just really it's financial in nature, and but then at the same point though, the whole thing is just different. I mean, in social media has changed. It's changed the whole landscape, and even the presence of internet entities and such, and so it's just different, and what you've seen and what you've started here with Ballin' for God, I mean, that's something that wasn't even a blip on anybody's radar, not even 5 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago, forget about it. I mean, so to be able to start your own website and to create your own content and to be able to push that out, the traditional opportunities that Travis and I are used to seeing, those are going away, but that doesn't mean that the overall opportunities are going away, because it's just like I told JR last night when we were doing halftime on the Black Cats Network. I don't think the demand for local content will ever go away.
No.
I just think that it's just going to be packaged different than what we're used to seeing, and that's kind of what I'm doing. That's what you've started in doing, and it's what we're seeing across the board.
I think the big change I've noticed is, when I was at Southern from 98 to 01, and you had a few local broadcasts you could watch. So I'm going to watch Sports Extra. If I know 6 and 12 had their own version of whatever they called it. Now, I've heard a lot of guys say this, if you've got a smartphone and can go live, you can do a broadcast.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal for when Brad and I were in high school. You'd get home on a Friday night after a game, and I want to see I want to see, is Darren Kinnard going to talk about us?
Right.
Is he going to talk about the Benton West Frankfurt game? Is he going to talk? That was the big deal. And the cool thing, I think, for Russ and this younger generation is, I don't know if you've ever heard me say it, but he's heard me say it a lot. I've said it to a lot of my friends. When Ballin' for God started kind of hitting these last couple of years, I would have buddies of mine, I'm going to watch my kids play or I'm doing whatever. They'd say, hey, do you know what this? Have you watched his Balling for God? They had no clue at the time he was 17,
Right.
or he was 16,
Right.
And I still tell people all the time now he's 18 years old, even though he's got this big manly beard. But I mean, he's got several thousand people following him, and
Right.
they didn't know he was a high school student for a couple of those years.
Yep.
And so I think it's kind of knocked down some of those barriers that you had to put your time in. I mean, I joked with Matt Malkovich the other day. I mean, my first job to get on QRL. I was the Sunday morning guy. I played the church broadcasts, and they told me that could be my first job. I was 18. I get out of Benton High School. Withers Broadcasting hires me at the on North Main, and my claim to fame was between the 3 broadcasts for 10 seconds I got to do the weather. That's how I got live on the air. I got to read the weather. It's a balmy 82 degrees. That was my chance, and then things obviously. Doors open, just like things for you at Channel 3. And these guys, I mean, sky's the limit for these guys right out of the gate.
Well, and there's a couple things there. And that what you're talking about there is when I was going to Kaskaskia, and I would, Bruce Kropp at WJBD in Salem, I had met him and had talked to him. And so I reached out to him. And every night at 11 o'clock, the DJ would read basically the scripts that were left from the morning news. And I asked him, I said, hey, would you care if I came in and did a sportscast? And he was like, no, because I was working at the Walmart,
Sure.
And I'd get off Walmart at like 9:15 or 9:30 and go to WJBD and come up with a little, and that was the first thing. And so Bruce was, I got to, he gave me such a tremendous opportunity. Do you remember when Bill Clinton ran for president the first time and he did the bus tours?
Oh, yeah.
And came through Southern Illinois? There was a stop in Centralia and there was a stop in Vandalia. And so Bruce and I went to Centralia, and I was there to hold equipment. I mean, and I'm a big-eyed 19-year-old kid, and all of a sudden, Bruce is like, so Darren, what are you seeing here? And I'm like, so I just start talking, and he and I are talking. Well, come to find out, he didn't tell me this, but they were having equipment problems, and he wasn't on. Because I got home, and I said something to Mom and Dad, and they're like, no, we didn't hear anything. And then I found, but that experience was tremendous. And then I actually got to ride on the press bus to Vandalia when he spoke at the old Capitol. And it's like there was network news people on this, and it was just like, oh, holy cow. But back to your point of how it's different also is technology is changed so much. And you mentioned the phones. It's not just the phones that you're watching on, it's phones to get content.
Sure.
I mean, when I was at WSIL, have the big $10,000 camera, you don't have to have that anymore.
Sure.
And even those entities that are streaming games and stuff, you don't have to have, a big massive TV production, setup that, in the old days you used to. And it was funny being WSIL when I started, we were kind of on the back end of the equipment, on the technology. I mean, I shot with tube cameras, which,
You seen those?
No. And the old tube TVs and these tube cameras, which, again, this is 1993, they were good for their time, but their time was 1980 and not 1993. So when you fast forward to the early 2000s, when we go to the NCAA tournament, we were one of the first stations to use FTP, which was file transfer. And I will never forget, Southern goes out to San Jose for the Sweet 16, and Ashley Hoyer and I are going out there, and we've got our camera, and we've got the tripod, and then we've basically got a deal or no deal suitcase, or we could have been having a nuclear launch code button in there. Either way,
Got the codes.
The silver briefcase is what, and all the other media, they still had the portable tape to tape editors that they had to bring like two-wheelers to take all the equipment that they had. And I remember we're walking along, and Doug Vaughn and his photographer from St. Louis, Camo V, get out of their cab, and they're unloading all their stuff onto their tripod, and we're walking by with the suitcase. And he looked at us, and he's like, and he had seen us at the first site, and he went, "Don't take this the wrong way, but this isn't right. That we had better, But that was
Get over it, Doug.
That was the beginning of the technology difference, in the fact that we could send video back via the internet versus having to rent satellite time, and all that jazz that we had to deal with before. And so now you fast forward 20
Sure.
years, and now you're able just to do all that on your phone. The cameras, the camera, even consumer grade cameras are good enough that you can put together a quality product. And and then the downside to all of this is I don't know that with everybody and their brother doing their thing with their phone, quality is suffered.
A lot of quantity, not as much quality.
A lot of quantity, not as much, very little quality, and the acceptance of a lack of quality is a problem, and so that's something, that's a challenge that I fight. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to put out a trash product just to be quick about it, or just to put out a bunch of stuff. And so that's a personal decision, and that's the way I approach it. But again, the opportunities are there because it's not a huge investment for somebody to go and to do some things and go, hey, I can go and I can go cover a game, and it's
Sure.
not like I got to buy a $10,000-$15,000 camera to do that.
Oh,
So.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I got into it easily. Which the camera I had first was horrible, but I was watching back some of my video, and the video was not great either. But it's been fun to just progressively get better. I've got a better camera now, but I will say it's a lot easier to get into it, as far as just being able to go buy a $200 camera, and
Well, and like the editing program that we use is a free download.
yeah,
And now you can buy the editing suite, but for what we're doing,
no reason.
it will do way more than I ever dream of needing. And so why would I spend money on that? And so if I can edit on a free program, and the camera, you're not buying the huge expensive cameras. And so now hey, I can get in this for minimal investment. And at the end of the day, if you decide that this isn't what you want to do, well, I've not invested a ton other than my time. I'm not saying that that's not valuable, but it's not the same as, hey, I got to fork down a bunch of zeros to make this happen. And so in that way, there's a greater opportunity there as well.
Darren, I'm going to pick your brain for a minute here. Male or female, I want you to, part of the show here is getting people, obviously, Russ and Doc Young's age, Brad and I's age, our age, kind of go through some of the male and female athletes that you've really loved. Who stands out in your mind? You've covered sports 30 years plus in Southern Illinois. You grew up in Southern Illinois. Kind of go through some players that kind of stand out to you.
Well, and again, when you start realizing how old you are is when you're covering second generation kids, and the first ones that came through, it took me a minute. It's like, oh, whoa, I covered his dad, and
It's longevity.
and it's old, and it's fun. And again, I don't have a problem with it. Look, there have been some tremendous people, and the one common thread that I will say is that when we have had teams that have had great success and gone to state, I would say outside of a couple, they have all been great kids. It's not just that they've been really good players, they've been great kids. And that makes it super fun when
Sure.
you're covering it.
Makes it easier.
Oh,
You're
gosh.
rooting for 'em.
And and again, it's just I mean, one of the first things I did was in '94 on my own was covering the state championship when Hawks sets up Ryan Bruns for the game winner. Well, now again covering both of their kids.
Sure.
And both of those guys coach now, and again, that was one of the first things that I covered really, because I kind of I was unofficially in the sports department at that point in time, and when Pinckneyville 93, 94, and so I kind of followed Pinckneyville, and so when they went to state, that was kind of my beat, so to speak, and but again, I mean, just being able to see, so many, through the years, so many great teams. I mean, you could argue that the 2000 Harrisburg football team is the best team we've ever had in this area.
If you say who let the dogs out, I'm out of here.
I'm not.
Oh,
But here's the other thing is
Brad Brashear, Smith, Peters, Jones.
but here's the thing is that
unbelievable.
I met Kyle when he was about this high at a Harrisburg, and he and I at that point in time we were Pistons. I was Pistons fan, and he was too, and it was this kind of interesting thing. I mean, he was in grade school, and so and now he's associate head coach at Mizzou.
Sure.
So it's just those relationships have been phenomenal over the course of over the years, and it was a little different, at WSIL covering a lot of Southern stuff and getting close with those, the Saluki guys, and
What a run the Salukis had. I mean,
and-
you were a part of it.
Well, I saw both sides of it. It was like from 02 to 08 was unbelievable, and then post 08 was like the other side of it, and it was just like it really made you appreciate how good it was, and what we got to do and see in that run. And so, I used to always think that I wanted to go to a bigger market and cover a pro team, and we went to St. Louis stuff periodically. We would cover Cardinals games. I shot some Rams games, but I realized pretty quickly that I didn't want to do that every day. I didn't want to deal with the professional athletes. And yeah, it was cool to shoot an NFL game, but I mean, I just didn't want to deal with all the other stuff. And I always liked covering. SIU was again being an alum, it was neat to cover them doing that. But also there wasn't that. That barrier wasn't up that at some universities, bigger universities, you don't have access to the kids, or you can't do this, or they keep you at arm's length. And I understand why they do it, but I never had that at Southern. And of course, with the high school stuff, it's always been a staple, just because I've enjoyed covering it, and it's something that I feel like people have enjoyed the coverage, and when you feel appreciated, I mean that makes a ton of difference.
Yes.
I completely agree. I've found myself, I go to the places that appreciate me being there. The guys that want you to be there, they'll message you and be like, hey, where are you going tonight? And they'd be like, oh, you should go here though. I enjoy that. And so that's why I'd rather say, why people ask, well, why do you go cover Woodlawn or Waltonville or Weber? Well, it's because those guys reach out and say, hey, what's up? Or they'll just like talk to you, compared to go cover like one of the bigger schools, which a lot of the bigger schools, they reach out to me as well. But you just go to where you are.
Well, and the other thing for me, if all things were equal, if a coach or a school would send in their scores, or send in, hey, we've got a kid that's signing here, or whatever. I mean, anybody that was a two-way street, well, I mean, the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to go cover them, and JR and I talked about scores last night, and, a lot of people talk about, old guys, about growing up and looking at box scores and paper, and, all this and that, and and there are a lot of people say, oh, I wish you still. I just wish people would send me the scores, much less a box score. I mean, it takes me 2 hours a night to get the scoreboard done because there aren't enough people. And again, it's that change in mentality. It used to be that there was either an assistant or somebody close to the program or the head coach in a smaller school would call all the local media. And it wasn't just one or two. There was a bunch. There were multiple papers. Yeah. There was radio stations. There was
papers.
TV.
What's that?
Yeah.
You guys know what papers are?
Yeah.
Doc, you know what a paper is? He's asleep.
But, I mean, and that's, again, and with technology, the ability to send that out in bulk is much easier now. Where
it almost makes people lazier sometimes, Darren.
Well, and it's just like, for me, it's just like, it's so easy. Just
sure.
Takes 10 seconds, and you can send it out to all the people that, you don't have to text each one. Yeah. You don't have to call each. Because, I mean, my phone would ring off the hook after 9:30 when I was at WSIL, and it would be like, hey, at Goreville tonight, blah, 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 blah. And, and they were calling in full box scores to the paper. And now, with technology, they can just, off a Game Changer or whatever program they're using, they can just email that. Yeah. And it's just, but not everybody does. And
all you have to do is go on Facebook or Twitter and put @Deuce&Abuse, @John Holman, at back. I mean, you could go tag all these guys. It's not that hard.
Yeah, one message would get it done. And,
yeah.
And I'm not a big group text guy because we all know what happens in group text. Somebody will say thank you, and it'll go to everybody.
At 2:24 in the morning.
But
maybe we start group text.
You should.
Yeah. But no, it's just one of those things, and it's just scores has always been a it's important to me. I mean, because I always felt like, if you're Benton and you're playing, you want to know what everybody else is doing too. Even though you want to see your team, but you want to see what happened with everybody. All the other teams in the conference or whoever else is.
Team down the road.
Yeah, I've had this discussion with. This is our 4th week together doing this, but Southern Illinois is such a family. It's such a tight-knit community. What does that mean to you? You're getting your 30 years plus in this business. You grew up in this area, a little north of us, but just being able to be, we don't have, I've said this so many times, we didn't have a pro team. I know we had the Cardinals, and I'm a Cardinals fan, and we didn't have an NBA team in St. Louis, and SIU was kind of our pro team.
Yeah.
This area, sports is it is a religion to people.
Yeah. Well, and I've said that that Southern is our pro franchise, and so we treated it as such when I was at WSIL, and that meant going on the road, and that meant. And we were doing the coaches show, and so there was a lot of things there that. So again, you're getting a lot of content, but it was again when you're winning, everybody wants to be a part of it.
Everybody wants a piece.
And you think about when they went to the Sweet 16 that in 07 in San Jose, and the Jim Belushi's in the. Jim Belushi's in the stands, and they talked about just what that meant, the value to the university in that, and enrollment was great, and and so again, it's a situation where it was the one thing that it didn't matter if you were from Benton or Frankfort, you were a Saluki fan.
Oh, we all bled maroon. Everyone was.
And again, and then when you get a guy like Kent Williams that's from Mount Vernon, and
it helps.
He's one of your guys, and but I think what we have seen here recently is it shows you how fast it can go away.
Yeah.
And I remember Mike Trude and I doing an ESPN3 game, and just he and I talking before we were going to shoot our open, and it was coming off the lean years, and you were going to have 2,500 at the arena, and I said to him one night, I said, this is what we used to make fun of other places.
Yeah.
And I would have one of the guys that the most talented creative guy I've ever worked with, Nick Gresham, Fresh Gresh, was a student, and he would go back and look through the archives, and this was before they had renovated the arena and all this and that, and he's like, D-Man, where's this? And I'm like, that's the arena. And he's like, what? Mm-hmm. The place was packed. It was SIU Creighton.
Sure.
It was SIU Creighton.
Oh, yeah.
And the place was packed, and
SIU Indiana.
And he didn't even recognize it, and because he's going and there's empty seats, and it just shows that how quickly it can go, and you go back to how does that translate to the media side? Well, you think about what we had built with Sports Extra and all those years, and that expectation of coverage, and and the Southern was at a certain level, with they had 5 full-time reporters and all this and that, and now it's just not the same, and so that's why I say the bar has lowered so much, that there's not that expectation of quality. There's not that expectation.
Well, you could just pump out stuff now
because they're starved for it, because it's not there anymore, and it just shows you again how quickly it can change and go away. Just like you can have a team that has had a great tradition, and all of a sudden things go south, and 4 or 5 years later it's unrecognizable that team used to be a dominant team. The same thing carries over here, and so it takes a long time to build. It does not take a long time to tear it down. So.
I have a question for you. We obviously had Tyler Smith-Peters come play at SIU, but what's it mean to have at the college level to have your local athletes like the Dockers or the NJ Bensons to come play for your local college?
Well, I think that it's just again, it's a huge boost, because you've got fans that, even though they may not have been Kent Williams fans in high school because he was beating everybody,
So Trey didn't like him, and
and they probably still didn't like him, but at the same point, we're going to tolerate him because he's our guy now,
sure,
so to speak, and and that's big, and when you've seen local guys, Javon Williams when he was at Southern, and a guy that maybe you had seen on Friday nights, and now he's playing on Saturdays, and oh gosh, this is important, and it's a reason people go to watch, and you go back to Shane Hawkins coming to Southern, and then he ends up teamed with Troy Hudson when Troy transferred back, and so the backcourt was Pinckneyville and Carbondale. And so it's it just, again, it's that sense of pride. Look, everybody when Docker's redshirting, but if he goes out and has a great career, I guarantee you there's a bunch of people, not just in Benton but in Southern Illinois, that are going to be like, yeah, I remember that dude, and hey, Colorado State, I'm going to follow them because of him. Well, when you have that in your backyard, and it's somebody that you can support here close to home, that's a big thing. Now the flip side of that is that not every good local player can play at Southern.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's a two-way street. One of the biggest mistakes I think Dale Lennon made was when he came on as SIU football coach, Jerry Kill had been recruiting Matt Brown at Marion. And when Dale came in, he didn't recruit him. Matt Brown goes to ISU and is their all-time leading passer. And, my feelings for ISU, it's not. Again,
on the screen.
It was one of those things that, you followed Matt because he was, Marion's until this year was their all-time leading passer. But it really hurt to see him do that within the conference, not just go somewhere else and be great. NJ Benson having a really nice run at DePaul. That's not the same as if.
Well, he went to Missouri State though too.
Well, he did go to Missouri State, but had he stayed at Missouri State, it'd have been different. Because because inevitably those dudes always get up when they would play Southern, and they would prove why Southern, either missed out or hey, I'm going to put on a good show in front of my people. So,
Darren, let me ask you this. Obviously, you and Russ know each other well. I've known you a long time. Ballin' for God is the platform, and Russ has done an amazing job the last several years with being on all the different the socials, like the kids call it. With Facebook, with Twitter, with YouTube, with TikTok, and all that. Just to kind of segue into this a little bit, talk about, because Russ started this because he loved sports and he loved God. Kind of tie into that. I know you've been big involved with FCA and different things. I know you said Roger Lipe's name earlier.
Right.
I know your church, you went to a long time in Heron. You were very involved with Upward Soccer and different things. Kind of tie that all in together.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a circumstance that I didn't necessarily grow up in the church, and it's something that certainly you believed in God, but it was like it wasn't something that was front and center. And there's a reason why you call her your better half, and so my wife Melissa was very instrumental. And early on in that process, when we were in Carterville, I went to a small group Bible study, and it was three of my favorite people, and they were all older, and just the wisdom and just some of the just talking with him, and one gentleman in particular, his name is Lloyd, and we were talking, and I said something because I had not been baptized, and and I said, I made some comment about not feeling ready, or and he looked at me and he's like, son, he's like, none of us are ready. He's like, none of us, that's not the point. And that clicked with me, and it meant so much that there's nothing that we can do here to make us worthy, and so you make the decision to follow God, and to that Jesus is your Savior, because you understand that you can't get there from here without it.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
And so that's and again, at the end of the day, we all fall short, and
Even I do.
and
I do too.
and again, you want to try to limit that damage, but at the same point, though, it's just you put the focus on the fact that we do serve a loving God, and the fact that He did provide a way that we could still spend eternity with Him, even though we don't deserve it.
Yeah, it's been a big part of my life. I think it's very easy to not be accountable of yourself in that, especially when you're working a sports media job where you're working basically 7 days a week. And I mean, just getting into it a little bit, it's a little bit tough, like bouncing and be like, well, I got church in the morning, so I gotta get to bed. And
But I need to edit this.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just, you got to always make sure you keep it at the forefront, even whenever you feel like you can't ever think this is more important, because nothing here is more important. It's just more of a, hey, this is what we can do while we're here.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that, and certainly, and there's no disputing that, and something that, when my dad passed away a few years ago, and I lost both parents within about a 3.5 year span. It's just you start thinking, and it's like, I'm never going to look back and go, I should have worked more.
They've never said that about me. You can. I'm just being honest.
But it again, I go back to, you don't want regrets. You certainly don't want regrets here. Well, I mean, and you really don't want regrets when it comes to eternity, because that,
Ain't no going back.
No, I mean the smoking section there is not.
No, don't want to be in it.
It's not good. So, but again, it's just like you get caught up in the day to day so much that it is easy to the eyes get off the prize, and and being able to see what you're doing and to be able to keep that out in the forefront, And here's the thing. We don't need to know the end result of the impact that you've had. That's not for us. That was the thing you mentioned upward. Everybody, so often everybody is so tied up in the numbers. Well, how many conversions did you get? How many? I'm not about numbers. I'm about planting seeds. And, this seed may not come to fruition for, I may not ever know if it does, and I don't need to know. That's not on me. And so
good.
The impact that you make, and who knows? I mean, it may be 5 years down the road. I mean, or who knows? I mean, and somebody may go, oh, that's what that guy from Benton was talking about here, and it clicks. We don't have to be there when it clicks. And so again, the vehicle that you've been able to use here, I think is tremendous. And and again, I've worked with people that whenever an athlete would thank God, in a post-game interview or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, well, like God didn't have anything better to do today than to make sure that X team won. I think that's not the point. That's not the point. He's not thanking God that they won the game necessarily. It's just that opportunity to play and to, and to do those things. And again, if it's not out there, there's not the ability to have the discussion, and same thing you mentioned. People ask. I had a guy at Christopher. He's like, are you the one with the site that's got the cross on it? And I'm like, no, but I know that young man that does that. So, but no, again, the impact. I don't know that we will necessarily know, and I don't think we need to know it. And I think that I just think that it is making an impact. And again, giving the vehicle is, I think that's a big deal. So
Russ, bring us home, buddy.
Well, let's talk about the crockpot rating. This is completely different than what we were talking about just now, but it's obvious a lot of people talk about it. You and Danny know about the crockpot rating.
Yes. Illinois is tournament crazy when it comes to basketball. I think there's maybe 1 week in the entire season that there are no tournaments, and that may be up for discussion whether that's true or not. Anyway, but it does result in my two favorite words: hospitality room.
That's where I saw you last night.
Last night, of course, and Goreville is a 5 crockpot hospitality room.
Hey,
and we have a rating system, and Goreville and Christopher. That's my first 2 weeks. 5 crock pots, man. And what I always tell people is when the hospitality room is in the home ec room, you are gold.
Yeah, you're gold. Yeah, everything's there.
It is right there. And again, if there's more than 1 crock pot on there, you're also in there. And so last night was some pulled pork and a big old baked potato. I mean,
it was good.
And I may not be planning, the fact that Thursday is Italian night.
She let us know the menu.
They're tremendous. And it's funny because I mentioned Brett earlier. When Brett went up to Champaign, he texted me one day and he's like, man, hospitality rooms, that's a Southern thing. He's like, up here, he's like, you're lucky if
some cold pizza.
if they put out cold cuts. He's like, and here's my thing. I have never been one that expects that.
Sure.
But I am definitely one that's going to praise it because that is tremendously appreciated when you go somewhere and they're going to put out the time and the effort to put together a nice spread and I mean, good grief. And I joke about fasting for a week, but then I think we see that that's not true. But I mean, yeah, there are a couple 5 crockpot ratings, and one thing that I also was told, and maybe you get into this, Brad, is that if you want to find out where the good hospitality rooms are, is you check with the referees because they know too.
Cahokia. We did our first playoff game at Cahokia this year. We got done, and they came. The smoker was rolling the entire game. They come over after the game with a 4-inch pan, the aluminum foil, smoked wings, sausages, hamburgers, and catfish.
Nice.
Bread. It was the best food we have ever got. I mean, unbelievable at Cahokia.
Told you.
Got to plug
Check with the refs, man.
Yes.
They know too.
El Dorado tournament, they usually have a pretty good one over there, but that's across the street.
Yep.
There. It's a pretty good one.
Yep. And that was the one. The other one was, and it's the early holiday, the Wayne City holiday tournament. Wayne City's got a nice.
Good job over there.
So, and again, of course, I mean the staples have always been Christopher, Sesser,
Yes.
Goreville.
Do you think? And I'm not just. Benton's obviously not a big town, I always joke with people. Southern Illinois. I lived in some major cities when I left SIU, and my wife and I, before we came back to the area, and those towns I lived in were cities, and people never said, "Hey, we got 3,000 people in our town," or "We got 4,000 people in our town." I mean, down Southern Illinois is the only place that says, "Hey, we're Benton. We got 7,100." You know what I'm saying? I mean, I lived in cities where it was like, "What are you talking about? 7,100? That's 3 blocks where we're at."
Right.
But the small towns take it serious. You said Sesser, Goreville, Christopher. I mean, it is a huge deal, and they're very, very proud of. I mean, they take it. That lady, I can't think of her name last night, but the lady at Goreville, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, they take it serious.
No, yeah. Well, and then you also wonder if there's not a little competitive nature in the hospitality rooms, and I'm here for it. I mean,
I'm all for it.
I mean, we reap the benefits, and so, and again, that's not to say, I mean, everybody has, Marion, when they were doing the holiday tournament, they would have local restaurants bring stuff in every day, and look, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
But
We're not turning down free food.
No, I mean, the price is always right, and so, but no, it's one of those things that is a tradition in this region, and you take it for granted, and then you realize, like Brett telling me that they don't do that. I mean, they have the same number of tournaments we do down here, but they don't do that up there, and so and that's their loss. So
it's more of a family down here.
Loss, so.
I think.
I mean, it's,
my wife likes it. She doesn't have. When I start basketball season, she doesn't have to worry about cooking anything. I'm not a factor in the meal because I've got my food.
Yep. Yeah, my wife. Hey, what nights are you gonna be home for dinner? Well, I'm going to Goreville Monday and Thursday, and then But no, and that's again. I think you hit it right on the head. It's that community. Sure. It's that. That sense of pride of, hey, we're going to put something out that we're going to be great hosts.
Yes.
We're going to be great hosts. And that goes all the way down to that. So,
well, I think we're going to kind of wrap up this section, but kind of talk about people don't realize that it's a day-by-day thing of where you choose to go. And I'm going to ask this part, does Crockpots have anything to do with it? But also just let people know that it's a day-by-day.
Well, you texted me a while back, and you're like, "Hey, next Tuesday, are you available?" I'm like, "Russ, I don't know what I'm doing this Tuesday." And it truly is. I mean, and every day is different, and and again, and I've said this to you before, and with the radio, TV, or the broadcasting, whatever, it's not math, and what I mean by that is in math. 4 and 3 is always 7, whether you're in Benton or whether you're in Miami, Florida, or you're in Boise, Idaho. It's always 7.
Are you sure about our math here?
I'm gonna trust you. But there's all different ways to do things in media. So when you've got a situation that you've got.
Let them in, Brad.
when you've got everybody does things differently, and it doesn't mean there's a right way or a wrong way. And for me, I'm a day by day guy, and those decisions, a lot of times are, hey, what's the weather, or where can I get multiple games, and that's the things that sometimes people never understood. Is like, well, why did you cover that game? Well, if Harrisburg and El Dorado were both playing, we could double up and get 2 games instead of with one guy or gal. And so, it's not always the best game or the best team or whatever. It's, sometimes it's covering, like I mentioned earlier, it's covering the coach or the team that they send in their scores every. Well, yeah, I'm going to reward them, with some coverage. And
strobe light.
Yes.
What do we do now? Praise the Lord.
The time is now 8:45 at your local Walmart.
You changing it for us, Brad?
And
Boy, I love it, man.
That's full.
Can't get that everywhere.
That's full service, man.
It's a top tier guest right there.
Top tier guest.
No doubt. And so yeah, I mean, the decisions, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, and some of it is timing, some of it is, again, what is the best game, or hey, have we covered this team yet, or have we had hey, we need to get this team or something like that. And then there are some games like when, and I know you've had the guys on, when Waltonville goes to Woodlawn in a couple weeks, that's going to be must see. That's going to be must see. And when Mount Vernon plays Centralia, that's must see. And
King City versus the Queen City.
So I mean, those kind of must see situations, and so you make it work.
Darren, I appreciate you coming on. I've known you a long time, consider you a friend. I think Southern Illinois considers you a friend. I mean, we've all watched you. We've watched you for the years, whether it was TV, whether it was with Section 618, whether what you're doing with River Radio now, everything going on with Sports Central. You've been in people's homes for a long time. What we got to do together when we were at Withers, what you've done for Russ here with Balling for God and being his mentor is a big deal. And I just appreciate you. I know your schedule's crazy. I know you'll go 100 places, but I appreciate you taking time for us.
Well, I mean, I appreciate you guys having me. And, and again, I've had a blast. And the thing is just like I said earlier, with what he's doing, he's putting in the work, and he's been tremendous. He's produced content that's been way beyond his years. And, again, to see all that kind of transpire, just to be able to kind of help that along and kind of guy, it's been cool. And you sit back and kind of, hey, that's my guy right there. And that's been really neat. And yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing, is that he's heard it so many times, the whole thing about being conversational. In our business, that's the key. And when you are conversational, it makes people feel like they do know you.
Sure.
And hey, he's talking to me. Mm-hmm. And when I'm actually just talking to a camera, but I mean, you're relating with people, and whether it's your personality or trying to get information out, but in a way that people are. They want to consume it. It's not like you're forcing it on them.
Sure.
And so that's something that I always try to do, and hopefully continue to do. So.
Awesome.
Well, it's much appreciated all that you've done and helped, and I'm sure everybody would agree. But I just thank you for getting on, and we're gonna move on to our next guest. We'll have them play rock paper scissors for who wants to go next, and then
Brad said I've been here for an hour and a half. I'm going next.
And
he's like, get that long-winded Kinnard out of here. I got dinner
I got
to
a
eat.
suggestion. Next time, have the TV personality go last. You know what I mean? He's got probably 5 minutes, and I've got about 10. So we'll get through this real quick.
All right. Well, we'll get on to it, and we'll see you guys here in a couple minutes.
All right, welcome back to Balling for God. This is segment number 2. We just had a great interview with Darren Kinnard. And now we're going to move on to a guy I know very, very well, Brad Wilson. Brad, I'm going to give a little intro here about you. Brad's from Benton, class of 1998 from Benton High School. Married his high school sweetheart, Jara Padovic, Jara Wilson now. And I'm going to go through Brad's jobs real quick. Just want to let people know, because people know Brad Wilson from about 19 things in Southern Illinois. Some people know him as a high school ref. Some people know him for he's the head laundry guy for the Department of Corrections at Big Muddy. He runs the laundry department. Makes about $150 doing laundry. Some people know him as he used to be a pastor. He was a pastor at
Youth pastor.
It was a youth pastor. Some people know him from roofing. Roofing, am I saying it right? Not roofies. Roofing.
Yes.
Yeah, roofs.
We don't roofie.
Okay. How do you say roof houses? Am I saying it right?
You're roofing.
Roofing.
Yeah,
Roof.
You're good.
Yep. Hold on. There's more. Are you the president of the school board?
President of the District 47.
District
School
47 in Benton. He's the president of the school board. Franklin County Board. What is your
Finance chairman of the Franklin County Board.
finance chairman of the Franklin County Board?
Did
I
you
know
get
you-
referee?
I already said referee. What else do you do?
Did you get cross country coach?
Oh, excuse me. The head cross country coach at Benton High School.
That covers it.
I mean, how many jobs do you have?
That covers it. Probably too many.
No, I'm saying this because we've been friends for a long time, and I mean, you probably won't say we're friends, but we know each other. But
Acquaintances.
All kidding aside, Brad, how do you keep so much energy in your mid 40s now?
46 to be
46.
exact. You know, I'm the type of person, probably like you a little bit. I cannot stand
No.
to sit still.
You
Drives
know-
me.
you know my father.
Like a day like this, if they didn't have school and my wife was home, a perfect day for her would be to get on the couch, get under the blanket, turn the TV on, and sit there all day. Like that would be a perfect day for her. It's a complete disaster.
That's a nightmare
me.
for you.
I can't sit still. You know, we've stayed out here at Rend Lake at the cabins. We hunt. Justin Wyatt and myself and a couple other guys. So we'll come stay out here to kind of get away from the house.
Oh, you build houses too. Excuse
Yeah.
me. You got a hat on that says Wyatt Builders, 12 jobs now.
Yeah. So we'll come stay out here for 4 or 5 days, and they'll come back and they'll want to. And I'm up, I'm down, I can't. I don't like sitting still, and I can retire when I'm 50. So I got about 3.5 years till I can retire. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not the retiring type. Like I'll be done with corrections, but I don't know. Maybe I'll find another job.
There you go.
Obviously know about you because your playing days at Benton, they're special. Played on a lot of really good teams under Roper. Just had a lot of success in high school. And you're in a good time to be at Benton. I mean, Benton's a good high school in general, and then now you're a referee. Travis listed off all the jobs. You're still into sports. You're doing many other things. What's your drive to do that? What's your drive behind sports?
Well, when I first started in corrections, I was on second shift. So, I'd work 1:30 in the afternoon to 9:30 at night. So I missed everything. Missed family stuff, missed sports, and I really missed it. Coaching, as I'm finding out, this is my first year coaching cross country. Coaching takes up a lot of time. And I've had a couple of our football coaches through the years ask me if I want to be an assistant coach. Well, I just know the commitment that takes to coach a team. So I figured a way to get involved in the sports that I like was, to be a referee. So I'm not working every night, going to practice 3 hours, a game, film time. I can go on, if it's football, I can go on a Friday night, a Saturday, a Monday night to a sophomore game, Thursday night to a freshman game. I'm there for an hour and a half or whatever, and I get to go home. I got to be a part of the sport that I love. So I just enjoy it, I like going to the gym. I still like to work out. I like to run, do those things. And that's a way for me to be a part, to give back. I love Friday nights. I love varsity basketball. I love varsity football. But, I also like those underclass when kids they're just learning. And you get to teach them, you get to talk to them a little bit. Tell them hey, this is what I'm looking for.
Teach a kid he's got to wear a mouthpiece.
Yeah, I don't want you to do this. Let's not do this on Friday nights when you're playing varsities. Let's try to fix it now. And I just really, really enjoy doing that, So that's kind of the drive. The money, if you're doing it for money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons because you're not making a lot of money anyway. You got to do it because you love it.
Thank God we fixed it. I thought the bomb was still going off. I did it's something in
I'm
the cooker.
surprised it turned on.
I don't know what just
finally,
happened.
we turned the heat up in here.
But it's 12.
I thought we was going to see
it's 12.
Breath.
It's
thought
12
we were gonna
degrees.
see our breath there for a little bit.
It's 12 degrees. All right, let me ask you this. And you knew we went to lunch together on Sunday, and I kind of hit you with this to bring you on here. But I'm going to take you back a little bit. And part of the fun of being on the show, and Russ enjoys this part, these guys, you're a senior, correct? We got a senior in high school over here. Russ is a freshman in college. We're both super old. Dr. Young's a freshman in college, which is amazing because he's a doctor. But here, I'm going to take you back a little bit down the glory days, so to speak. Jeff Roper turned things around at Benton High School.
Sure did.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to play for him. Talk a little bit about playing for Jeff Roper and those. Russ was in 4 years of high school with my son Trey, and all 4 years they were in high school. Trey was thankful enough to be on the varsity team 4 years, didn't play a lick really his freshman year. He got to get in a little bit at the end of blowouts in the playoffs, but all 4 years, playoff teams. That was not the norm in the 90s, in the 80s at Benton High School, and you were on one of the first teams to ever make the playoffs. Talk a little bit about what happened, and now people see Benton in football. We're in the playoffs nonstop. It wasn't always like that, and what Jeff did and got you guys to buy in. There's great athletes everywhere. You're from Mount Vernon. We're from Benton. There's great athletes all over Southern Illinois. It doesn't mean you win. There's been a lot of teams with great athletes. You're a referee.
Yep.
You see it. There's good teams that go 2-7. What did Jeff do to get the most out of kids?
So for me, I have a brother. He's a little bit older, so I think he played for maybe Mike Salmo was the head coach then. They had talent on those teams. There was athletes there, and not knocking.
I get it.
Salmo's coaching, but in football, to me, more than any other sport, a good coach makes the difference. In basketball, we have Docker. We have Luke. We have Munoz that year.
Isaac Billington. Bills.
Yeah, Bills. You roll a basketball out there, those dudes are going to go out there and win you some games regardless of what the coach says because they were just dudes that could play.
We had Ronnie on last week.
Yeah.
He's never going to come back now.
Well, Ron's a great coach. I'm not saying that.
I get
but
what
I'm
you're saying. I
if
get
you roll that
yes.
basketball out there,
they're going to win 20
you've got
games.
4 dudes.
Sure.
They're going to go win.
Yes.
Now, is the coach going to make a difference on, hey, this is how we're going to guard these kids or whatever? This is the set we're going to run? Absolutely, it's going to make a difference. But in football, because you have so many kids on the field, you can scheme things up and you can take kids that may not be the greatest athletes in the world. And this is what Roper would tell us. You may not make the play, but they're going to have to run you over to get the touchdown because I'm going to put you in the hole. I'm going to put you where they're going to be. And that's Rope's attention to detail.
Unparalleled.
There is nobody else that I've ever met like that. Everything. We went through every single play that the other team was going to run. And you knew every day everything was always the same. Mondays we're going to go and we're going to put the bags up and we're going to go offense, what we're going to run, what their defense is going to be, how you going to block it. We're going to X, we're going to base, what are we going to do here? And then we would go over their plays. Okay, they're going to run this. Here's what we're going to do. And we did that on Mondays. Tuesday, live offense day. Your first team offense is going to go out there. You're going to run your plays. Wednesday's defense day. Thursday, you're going to kind of button things up. Friday, we're playing a game. And it was that way every week. You knew exactly what to expect. Here's the thing about Roper that a lot of people may not realize. Roper didn't care if you was the all-state player or the guy that was never going to come in the game when it mattered. Never. He held everybody to the same standard at every practice. Didn't matter. And in doing that, he got the most out of kids.
Dude's a winner.
He's
Jeff
a
Roper,
winner.
if people don't know, Jeff Roper, what he did at Benton High School, look at his two sons. Obviously, at one time, both were playing for University of Illinois at once.
And both great young men today.
Oh, yeah, great young men.
Both of them are great young men today. And I'll say that also about Roper. Was he hard on us? He was hard. And
I'm still scared of him a little bit.
He's probably, every time I talk to Jeff, he's apologized to me for the way he was in high school, and sincerely apologizing. So a couple of years ago, God put something on my heart, because Justin, one thing that Groves does that I really like is he likes to keep that tradition going. He likes to bring guys from the past that played to talk to the kids today, to tell them what it means, to be a Ranger, to play football. So I went up to talk, and I asked Justin, I said, hey, can you have Jeff come out to the field? And he said, man, I'll try. Jeff he doesn't come out here. And I said, will you tell him that I'm asking for him to come out? And so I got there, and what I did was, and Jeff didn't realize this, neither one of us was saved at the time. We was, heathens, right? But one thing so I brought a kid up. I brought the quarterback. I said, hey, call a play for me, So he calls a play, and I asked the guard. I said, hey, what are you going to do? And I asked the running back and the receiver. So everybody had a part to play. But if anybody messed up in their part, right, that whole play fails if you don't do your part. So one thing that I was telling Jeff that he taught me, or I was telling the kids, is he talked to me about commitment, talked to me about purpose, talked to me about drive. And I didn't realize it at the time, but, and I don't think Jeff did either. He wasn't just teaching me about the game of football. He was teaching me about the game of life. And, man, that's stuck with me forever, this whole time, And, boy, it was an awesome time. And so I started praying for the kids. And, Jeff, he's a hard guy. And as I'm praying, Jeff comes over and he lays his hand on my shoulder. And, man, I broke down. I looked at him. He's breaking down. And the kids are looking at us like, what? What's going on here? But it was it was a really cool moment for Jeff to see that, hey, God was using him long before he knew God was using him. So, and God was preparing me long before I ever knew that God was going to use me. So it was a really neat moment for the both of us, Great. Jeff's a great guy. I couldn't say enough about him. So, yeah. So I was lucky.
So if people don't know, this is one thing I told Russ we got to get a little bit better at. You and I know each other super well. Russ meets you. You've seen each other for years, but kind of introduced tonight.
Yep.
Tell people the years you were at Benton. So people don't know. You might not know. What years were you playing at Benton?
So
Is that a bad question?
That's not a bad question.
96 would have been, I would have been a sophomore.
I graduated in 96.
You graduated in 96.
You graduated in 98.
But 97 would have been the football year.
Yeah.
So 95 was my first varsity year of football. I was a sophomore.
It was Benton's first year to go to the playoffs. You were on the very first team.
So kind of I was lucky.
You played with Justin Groves.
But the seniors, my freshman year, went 6-3.
Jason Kern.
40 playoff points or something crazy like that.
J.R. Irwin, Jason Kern.
Jason
Osborne, all those guys.
Rob Blondie.
They
had a great football team. And Roper I don't remember what the record was the year before, but it was.
I do.
What was it?
0 for.
So the 0 for 9.
And then he goes 6-3.
Jeff comes in, first year, same kids, goes 6-3. Any other year, you're making the playoffs with. I don't know.
Nowadays, you 5-4, you get in.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So
5.
Yeah.
they don't make the playoffs. So my sophomore year, I'm starting running back, starting on defense, so I'm getting to play, and that's the first year Benton had ever made the playoffs.
I can name the whole team, but we won't bore everybody.
And something people may or may not realize is the way that we do playoffs in Benton. When we bring kids in, we didn't know any of that stuff at Benton because we never experienced that, right? So our first game, we go to Mount Carmel, who was in all likelihood going to beat us. I mean, that's what everybody thought. But we go up there, and, man, we're going into Mount Carmel.
No, Robinson.
No, I'm sorry,
Robinson. We went to
Robinson.
Robinson. Yeah.
And Robinson, they got signs all down the road.
Those 2 6'7" brothers.
Yeah, they had brothers. One was a quarterback, 6'7".
Twins.
They had a tight end, and I can tell you a story about that. But we go up there and win, and then after the game, all the local restaurants donated, and they fed us. So from that point on, that's how we did things at Benton.
Because of going to Robinson. We learned, hey, we saw that, and we've taken that, and I think to this day we still do
those things. But yeah, that was a special moment. The first playoff game in Benton history, to go up there and to be a part of that was, that's something that I'll never forget that. But now it's kind of become the norm and expected. It wasn't expected then. That's,
I'm going to ask you this question. Your senior year, how good is that team?
Well, we was really good.
Name some of those guys.
So you had Casey McCommons, that was an all-state middle linebacker.
His son's just back-to-back all-state.
His son is back-to-back all-staters. He got the tackle record, I believe, now at Benton High School. I did see that. So you had Casey. You had Bryce Schaefer that played at SIU.
Nick
Batts.
Jim Lingus.
Jimmy Lingus. Then we had, the great sophomore trio of Alec Wissinger, Jason Harvey, and
Travis Dixon.
Sure. Those three guys their senior year all ran for 1,000 yards.
They did. I know the guy.
We had those guys that were a little bit younger. Rob Swift, Pat Hungett. We had some really.
You had a great team.
We had some really good, and football was pretty good in Southern Illinois. Harrisburg was a really good team.
Who was your quarterback?
Nick Dill was our quarterback.
Dill,
yeah. Of course, not to put any shade at Nick Dill, but we didn't really throw the ball.
Straight T.
We went straight T. But not many people I'll tell you how bad it was in Southern Illinois. My junior year, I was all-South wide receiver, and I think I maybe had 380 yards receiving or something like that, and made all-South wide. So we didn't throw the ball a lot, and if we did, it was a very, very obvious passing situation.
Jeff would pass if it was 3rd and 27.
Yeah. That's one thing I will say about Jeff, and he may believe me or not. Jeff didn't care if you stopped it; he would just throw more at it and run the same play. There was no there was no adjustments. Hey, let's try something different. It's just now we're going to be better than you, and if we're not better than you, then we're not winning the game. It is what it is. So yeah, we ran the straight team, but really good team. We lost one game that year. We lost to Massac County, and I remember we came back to play Harrisburg, who was ranked at the time. They went on to they got runner-up at state that year. I think Maple Park Canelan beat them. Really good team. They come to Benton, and we beat them. I mean, we beat them handily. And then, of course, we get into the playoffs. We played Freeburg, which I don't know if you remember this.
I was on the radio.
You was on the radio?
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened?
There was a brawl, and there was a midget on the field.
There was midgets on the field.
They said it on the...
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to name drop here, but John D. Aiken was the long time... I don't know why I'm leaning into this. They say Dr. Young says I'm super loud, so it doesn't matter. But John D. Aiken, who was part owner of SCD Ray and Sons Insurance in Benton, he was the PA announcer. Do you know Mr. Aiken?
Yeah.
So John D. Aiken was the PA announcer, and a brawl breaks out between Benton and Freeburg. In the game, a brawl. I mean...
A full I'm talking... So there was a turnover. I remember this also. There was a turnover. We got the ball. They fumbled. We get it. So I'm turning towards our crowd and yelling, And then all I'm seeing is people running onto the field, fans coming out onto the field. And I turn around and it's complete melee on the field, just fights happening everywhere. And that's when John says there is midgets on the field.
Because Freeburg was the midgets. Now they're
Yeah.
the Blue Rage, or whatever they're called now.
So we win that game.
1997 PC was different than now.
Yeah, we win that game. We went to Chester and beat them. Then we played DuQuoin and Martin, and that was the end of the line. But yeah, great year. Really, Brandon Custer was on that team, and his senior year he was all-state middle linebacker.
He was a junior.
He was a junior.
Your senior.
Yeah, my senior year, but his senior year he was all-state middle linebacker. So in essence, we had 2 all-state middle linebackers. Jason Harvey, outside linebacker. I mean, we was Ramey Burleson played on that team. Justin Summery was on that team. So we had some dudes. It was good. Now, switching gears on you, Benton basketball wasn't Benton basketball.
I didn't talk about Benton basketball yet. I was hoping Russ had a better question.
Right. So I really got to experience.
These guys don't understand Benton basketball. When we didn't win as many games when we were going through school.
No, my junior year, we were.
What was your record, Brad?
2-28.
I was looking back and I saw some of those.
2-28. It was terrible.
It's a lot different from Rich Heron to where it's at now. And
A lot, Ron has done a great job. I was talking earlier about basketball coaches not being as important, but I'll say, Ron has done a phenomenal job. He gets the most out of his kids, and man, we've had some special runs here the last couple of years in basketball. But you look at, I'm going to brag on the high school. I'm going to brag on Benton. You look at what we've had the last couple of years, between in your fall sports alone, football, cross country, golf, like phenomenal. And most schools, they don't get that. And we've been getting it for a couple of years now.
Well, we talked about it with Darren Kinnard. I mean, we've had a state champ in golf. We've had an individual state champ in cross country. We've had a state champ. The team got second several years. The golf team, football has been to the
same thing for cross country.
Yes, cross
they
country.
finished in top 5 several times.
You've had unbelievable runners. You've had the football team's been to the quarterfinals twice in the last 4 years. It's been an unbelievable run just in the fall. Then you go to winter sports, and the basketball team gets second in state. It's been unbelievable. Then you go into spring, and you've had
too.
Wrestling's had state champs.
Wrestling.
Teifel. Mason Teifel state champ.
Gabe Craig.
Speaking of Teifel, Maurer's from Mount Vernon. Jason Teifel played at Mount Vernon. What'd you say?
Gabe Craig.
Gabe Craig. You've had, you go into spring sports. Obviously, it's been an unbelievable run. A.J. Kinsman's 2-time state champ. Gavin Genesio won like 13 state titles. Yeah. Seriously, it's been unbelievable.
I always think about that. I think about Gabe McLean.
Gabe McLean's at Gonzaga.
Brent's son. He just came in that era, man, where like any other time, he's the number one runner anywhere around. Well, he had to come up behind Gavin and Nally from Marion. Two generational kids.
You got a kid at Tennessee and a kid at Indiana.
Yeah. So, we've been very blessed to have some.
You also had Cole alongside him too.
Yeah, Cole Buchanan, who's another great runner. We've had quite a stretch of athletes. Obviously, we both have kids going through the school. You have 2 daughters. I have 2 sons. We both have a daughter and a son that have graduated Benton. Now you have a freshman daughter. I have a freshman son. Your freshman daughter runs for you. Kind of segueing into cross country, being the head cross country coach. Did you ever think? Now I'm gonna say this is just kind of funny because people have said this to me. I was not a football player. I know I look awful strong and beastly now, but I was the cross country guy, the stick. You were the football player.
You look like a defensive tackle right now.
Yeah, thank you. And then now look at it. I had a son that played 4 years of football at Benton. I have a son now that was the freshman quarterback this year. Your daughter's a cross country runner. Now you coach cross country. It's kind of come a little full circle here.
I tell you what, it was really overwhelming because I wasn't looking to be the the cross country coach. You know, that's not something that I was just dying to do. But they didn't have, you know, they didn't have the job to offer them. Well, you don't have very many people that's just going to go coach to coach. So I said, yeah, I'm going to do this, you know. And the past 3 years, you know, my daughter in 6th grade and 7th grade, she got third at state. And then 8th grade, she did really well too. And
Keesley Wilson.
Yeah, Keesley
Wilson.
Wilson.
Say names here. Not everybody doesn't know.
Yeah. So that whole time, Brent is kind of Brent McLean is in my ear, and hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. And Brent is, I'll say this though, Brent is a lot like Jeff Roper in attention to detail.
Very similar.
So Keesley's 7th grade year, we're going into the summer, no 6th grade year, before her 7th grade year, and Brent says, hey, here's what we need to do. And he gives me his flash drive, and it's Mia McLean's 7th grade year every single day of the summer. Every day, what she did for the workout, what the weather was, and how she felt, and her times. Every day. And he has that for every year. And he has it for every kid. So, you know, now here I am. I'm going to follow this guy. Right, so
he's coached Olympians.
Yeah,
he didn't. Red Lake, he's coached 2 Olympians.
2 Olympians. So you can only imagine how I'm feeling. Like I'm going into this. I only know what Brent has taught me. You know what I've done research on. Didn't really. So I called him before the season, and I'm like, Brent, I can't do this. You know, I don't know what I'm doing here. And boy, he was great. He sat down with me. We went over workouts, and you know we tweaked a few things here or there. But anytime I need to call him, I call him. And so that was this year was my first year coaching. And we've been done now for about 3 weeks. And, you know, I miss the kids. I miss seeing them every day. And I thought, you know, this is a lot because it's a long – you don't realize cross-country season's that long. But it is. It's a long season when you figure, okay, we're doing running here, getting ready for the season. So it's a long season, but yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. You know, getting to know the kids and seeing what makes them have that drive, you know, because every kid is different. And Travis will tell you this, cross-country kids are different than football kids as far as
completely different
mentality. You have to have a little bit of different mentality, you know, when you're going out and every day, you know, and some day we have 2 days where we'd run in the morning and work out in the afternoon.
I ran 1,000 miles between my junior and senior year of high school.
And you know, that is punishment in any other sport when you go run.
I'll tell you
these guys are doing it for fun. You know, they're doing it because they enjoy it.
Is you got to want it. I remember my dad telling me, because Lord knows, you and my dad are very, very close. A lot of people say he's closer than you than me. But
I'm the son he always wanted.
Brad Wilson is the son Dave Severn always wanted. He is right there. Let's just be honest. Dave, love you, Dad.
Love you too, Dad.
Yeah. But hey, I'll just say this. I remember him telling me, Travis, this isn't going to be like basketball and other sports. There's not a bunch of people. There's not a bunch of fans there. Yeah. You got to want it. You're going to go run 3 miles, and it's going to hurt, and there's not going to be thousands of people cheering for you. I mean, Trey Severn got to play at Pinckneyville last year. There's 3,000 people in the gym when we're playing a basketball game.
Yeah.
You know, there's 12 people when I used to run cross country, and my 5'3" Italian mom's the loudest one.
Hey, I watched. So this would have been Dylan Nally's senior season in track, right? So it had stormed in Marion, so they couldn't work out in Marion. Well, I had Keesley at the track, and we're doing a workout. And Dylan and his dad showed up, and they're doing 25 400s. Now, if you don't know anything about
Russ,
running,
could you and Doc Young do 25 400s?
May walk.
Could you drive that far?
25 400s at, I think it was 71 pace.
Oh, my.
With a 30-second break in between. So we get done with Keesley's workout, and they're, I don't know what number they're on. They're on 13 or 14. Well, at that point, I can't leave because I cannot believe what I'm watching. And he hit the last one the same way he hit the first one. And it was You think, okay, I'm 3,000 people. I'm watching this quarterback, Keegan Glover, a couple
Sure.
of years ago. Phenomenal athlete.
Yes.
People's like, man, this kid's awesome. And he was awesome. But when you think about what this kid is doing, say Dylan or Gavin, and nobody's watching this.
You got to want it.
And I thought to myself that we don't realize, with Gavin and Gabe and Cole and Dylan, people don't realize what we had, like how special those athletes were. And there's not thousands of people out there watching them run. At that time, it was him, his dad, and me and Keesley. 3 people watching just a once-in-a-lifetime athlete do something. And you got, like Travis said, you got to have that. That drive has to come from within. If you don't have that, you can coach a lot of things. I can coach you how to have better endurance. I can coach you how to get faster. But there's one thing you can't coach, and it's not football field, basketball. I can't teach you how to be competitive. I can't coach you how to be competitive. That's just something you have or you don't have. You cannot coach that into a kid. And
That's the quote of the day, Bradley.
yeah, and I'm telling you, to run cross country or to be a football player or a basketball player and go to the gym when nobody else is going, or go put up shots when nobody else is doing that, go lift weights when nobody else is doing it. A coach can't force you, can't make you do that. Those kids that have that, and I believe we've had some of those kids recently that have that competitiveness, those are kids you want to coach because they're going to listen to every word you say, and then they're going to do even more on their own. Those are special, special kids.
Yeah, growing up with AJ Kinsman, I remember he'd always wanted to play football all his life. He wanted to go play college at Notre Dame, and
Go Irish! It's my team. Me and the Kinsmans were Notre Dame freaks.
but he quickly into high school, he found that shot put was his way to get to college, and he won it back-to-back years. And just seeing his work ethic, I would go stay at the Kinsman's house because me and Luke were buddies, and we'd always be like, "What's AJ doing?" And he'd be in there working out at probably 9 o'clock at night while me and Luke are in there playing 2K or something, and that just speaks to the type of athlete he is. Just always getting better.
Every kid wants to be a state champion. Every kid wants to be the best basketball player, the best football player, but not every kid wants to do what it takes to become that. And the kids that put in that work, when your friends are playing Xbox or your friends are going out and doing this or doing that, that's a special kid. I think of that team when I was a sophomore. I'm going to say this. I believe that team was probably better talent-wise than my senior year. You had Justin and
Reggie Smith, Ken
Reggie
Zebart.
and Z-Bar.
Jason Johns was an
Jason
unbelievable runner.
Johns.
He led the South in rushing. Jason Johns was
But
an
those
animal.
guys will tell you they wasn't going
Jason
to the
Bennett.
gym, and they wasn't
Justin Groves was on that team.
Justin Groves. They wasn't spending the time that these kids are right now. Who knows what those teams could have been? If we would have put the time in like these kids are putting in now. But I think that also is the era is a little different than what it was then. I think kids are now, and I don't think this is necessarily a good thing. They're becoming sport specific. So they put all this work in to one sport. And I don't necessarily think that's a good thing to have, and I say that my daughter's only running right now. She's not playing basketball, but that's her. I'm going to let her make that decision. I think you need to do all that, I think if you're a runner or a football player and you can play basketball or, I've been told, and I don't remember, if you was a basketball player for Rich Herron and you wasn't playing football, you didn't have an option. You was running cross country. He was doing something else.
I'll always bring up this story, and I pray that his health gets good enough that we can. He's on the mend, but I love Tom Wheeler. He's a good friend of mine, and Tom always tells me the story about Lou Henson, longtime head basketball coach at University of Illinois. You know what I'm talking about? Great coach, U of I, and they're recruiting TJ, and they came to watch him play a football game for Christopher. His senior year, he comes out as a wide receiver, and Tom told me that Lou and the Illinois staff wanted to see how he was as a teammate. They knew he's scoring 35, 40 points a game. I mean, he's a scoring machine.
Right.
You know, he's a generational
What
talent.
kind of kid? What kind of kid is he going to be?
What kind of kid's he
Right.
going to be?
What kind of teammate?
Sure. I mean, it was easy when he was. I mean, Christopher hasn't had another. Now, Amaya Hargraves is playing at Nebraska, but I'm just saying,
phenomenal.
Christopher hasn't pumped out Division I basketball
Right.
players, right?
Yeah.
And he's going to U of I, which was back in the day when they were, they just came off the fly in a lion eye with
Yeah.
all those guys. And so I always say that to having a son that's a freshman now, that how are you as a teammate? I told him, you were the freshman QB this year. Guys are going to watch things you do. When the weight room's open, get your butt in there.
Yeah.
Because guys watch, how you are as a basketball player and a baseball player in different sports you play. It's easy to be the top guy.
And that's the same thing as being a leader in sports is the same thing as being a leader as a Christian.
Yeah.
And I say that because we're very good with words as Christians of telling somebody this is what you should do, right? You should do this or you should do that. Or if you're a leader in sports, hey, you need to do this or you need to do that. But the best way to lead somebody is to do it. When you're leading, that means you're in the front. Whether it's a Christian or a player, if your teammates see that you're in the gym and that you're working hard and you're doing these things, that's going to push them to do better, It's just like living a Christ-like life. My actions speak way louder than my words. If somebody sees how I'm living my life, if I am Christ-like, they don't want to hear what I have to say. They want to see me live it out. And that's the same thing with being a leader, on the court or on the field or the track or wherever you're at. You have to be the example. And what you said, I heard Gino Auriemma? Is that his name?
Auriemma.
So he was talking.
East St. Louis scored again.
They was interviewing him about how he picks his players. Of course, UConn, they can get any girl they want in the country. They're the premier school. And he says what he does is he wants to watch those girls. He said, hey, I know I'm going to get the best players in the country. I know I'm going to get the best scorers, the best defenders, the best rebounders. I know that because of who we are. I want to know what kind of teammate they are. So when you make a bad pass, I want to see your reaction. When the coach takes you out and puts you on the bench, I want to see, are you cheering for your teammates? Are you cheering for the next person up to make sure that they're doing good? And that's what he's looking for in kids, What kind of teammate are you going to be? And being an official, I've seen some kids that are phenomenal athletes. They're terrible teammates, And coaches probably can't wait for them to be gone. Even though they're phenomenal, they're a headache because they're just not. They're selfish, and it's all about them, and they're not good teammates, and they're not fun to coach, really. I think any coach would tell you that. They'll take a kid that's a good teammate over a kid that is just going to go cause you trouble and score 30, 40 points,
I want the kid that's going to win.
Right. Well,
Russ, what's your next question, buddy?
Go ahead.
Just talk about seeing those kids. What's it mean to you to see all that come through Benton after you're gone? Not gone, but you're still here. But but just going, you graduated from Benton and all that. Just to see the success of the athletics, what's that mean to you?
It's exciting for me, I want to see kids do better. There's some people that you take the Dolphins team that went undefeated. They don't want anybody to ever go undefeated. They get together and they celebrate.
They still do. Even though there's not
still
many
do
left.
that.
There's not many of them left.
Yeah, but I want kids to do better. To continue to do better. I want to see them be successful, and I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing our kids win and have success and go on and be successful in life. And I think to me that's part of being a Ranger and being from Benton is buying into that and wanting to see kids be successful. And I'm going to give him props. Dr. Kern, who I'm talking about, Travis,
Yeah.
Brian
Kern, I do.
So I have not talked to Brian, and I could not tell you the last time that I talked to Brian. Well, Brian heard that Keesley's hip is not right. He knows that she's a good runner. I got a call last night from a number. I had no idea who it is. It's Brian Kern calling to say, hey, what's going on with Keesley? I got some people down here that, send me the MRI. Let me take a look at it. But that's what it means to be a Ranger. He wants to see people be successful,
Can I give the backstory? 1992, Brian Kern is the starting point guard on a. Why am I leaning into this thing again? He says I'm the last guy ever, and Dr. Young's been in the bathroom 7 more times. But Brian Kern was the starting point guard of the 1992 Benton Ranger basketball team that got 3rd in state with JoJo Johnson, Brian Holman, Travis Kays. I'll name the whole team here if you want me to. But he becomes an orthopedic surgeon, was able to go to AA for the Oakland A's. He was a pitcher, went to Rend Lake. Brian's father, Mark Kern, used to be the president of Rend Lake College. Jason Kern was a year older than me. He has a brother named Frank Kern as well. But Brian is in, just a little backstory because not everybody knows what we're talking about. Brian Kern is an orthopedic surgeon in Paducah, Kentucky, and calls
specializes in knees and shoulders now. But because this guy is, he's from Benton, he calls me.
It's a tight bond.
And that's to get back to your point or your question is, you want to see these kids be successful. And, whether it's Benton or anywhere else, but Benton's special. But to me, watch a kid be successful on the field or on the court, to see them succeed, that's a great feeling for me. And you want to see that continue on. And I think the school, to give them credit, they're doing a lot of good things up there. You look at that field that we have. You look at the gymnasium.
For a school our size, our facilities are.
Yes. Look at Carterville 10 years ago, or whenever they really blew up, when they built the new school. People moved to they didn't move to Carterville because it was just the greatest town to live in Southern Illinois.
Pizza, Pasta, and Express.
Yeah, that's good pizza.
Is it even there still?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay.
It's good pizza. But they went there because of that school
winning.
System. And they started winning.
Winning breeds success, man.
When you start doing things like that, when you start building things like that, and you're having success, people want to come and be a part of that. And man, between at the junior high, I dare you to tell me where you'll find another junior high gymnasium like we have at Benton. Like,
I'd like to know the guys that run the school board that helped.
It's pretty that stuff. It's special to have, and kids want to do that.
Sure.
Kids want to be a part of that. And I know they've got some more plans up there at the high school that, they're talking about doing some other things. And, man, you start building that. Listen, you can live in any town in Southern Illinois. If you work in Southern Illinois, you can live in any town you want to in Southern Illinois and get to work.
Sure.
So I just think the nicer things that you have, the more things that you have to
draws
offer
people
kids,
in. It draws
people.
Sure it does.
And I think we're doing a good job of that, because there's other communities. We're not doing a very good job of that.
Well, I'll just say this, and we go, and I joked with Mr. Maurer over there earlier, but move-ins are big. And Benton has had a lot of move-ins that have helped us in, let's just say it, for generations.
Absolutely.
We have.
Yeah.
I can name guys. When
some might say Rich got him here a little bit differently, but yeah, we've had.
The coal mines helped Benton. The coal mines helped Benton.
I've heard stories that guys would show up to work at the mines, and the bosses would be like, "Hey, who are you?" They'd be like, "Hey, Rich said I got this job."
Well,
I don't know if that's true or not.
Rich Herron is a legend, obviously.
We've had some move-ins, and we're still getting those. But now, I think the difference is now it's not that we've got more jobs than anybody. Sure. It's just that, man, we've got successful programs. We've got great coaches. We've got good administration, good boards. Good things are happening, and that's how you start having success.
I will say this too, and just not just because you and I went to school at Benton and know each other, but we have had a nice run. I can name names, and a lot of those kids had parents that went through that school system.
Yeah.
A lot of, I could name names right now. Now, not all. I could name names also of people that didn't. But it's nice to see people come back through, that come back home, and see it kind of come to fruition. Russ, bring us home. What's our last question for Are you a doctor yet? We got a Dr. Young back here. Are you
Doctor, no,
everybody
I'm not
Ben's a doctor.
I
Are
need
you
another job. But
Yeah.
a doctor, my wife
you
would
Brad
be like,
Wilson, Dr.
yes.
Wilson?
My
He'd
wife
be the editor for this podcast.
love it.
I know you should be.
I should be what?
The editor. You could edit the podcast.
You should be the editor. I call you
Okay.
editor.
Last question. I just, as you're kind of going, you mentioned earlier, 3 years from retirement, 3.5 years. You mentioned it's hard for you to just sit down. What's kind of the next point in life? I mean, you already got 9 different job titles, but I mean, like, what are you adding on?
You see what my hat says?
Yeah, I see what your hat says.
Oh, you got a big smile there.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to say.
Governor?
Yeah, no. Boy,
He's never been a loss of words. I've known
yeah,
him for a long,
I don't
long
really.
time.
I mean, I have a plan, in mind. Hopefully, we'll see where things go. We'll see what God has in store. But I'm gonna stay busy. That's for sure. I'm not gonna sit around.
Jared Joe could vouch for that.
Yeah, she'll tell you I'm not gonna sit around. I enjoy hunting. I enjoy that, getting away and doing those things. But I just like to stay busy, and just it seems like everything I do, it's involving the public in some way, some form or fashion. You look at these jobs that we talked about.
His 12 jobs.
Officiating, you're getting yelled at. You go to the games, you see, you're getting yelled at every night. Working in corrections, it's not. I'm not working at the bank. There's always something going on. Being a public official, whether it's being on a school board or the county board, there's always some type of issue or some type of problem. And I enjoy being a problem solver, and I maybe too much of a fixer at times, So I'll probably stick in that area, find something to do. I don't want a 40-hour week, like report somewhere, and, I've done that. That'd be 28 years at that time. So I'm over that. But yeah, I'll be doing something else. And officiating, I'm probably going to stick that out for as long as I can because I enjoy that. It keeps me busy. I enjoy the kids. For the most part, I enjoy coaches. There's some of them when you throw the basketball up, that's not the same person that I was talking to before that ball went up in the air. But I do. I enjoy the coaches and they can get worked up, really worked up. Me as an official, and I'm kind of getting off of what your question, but as an official, there's no reason for me to ever get worked up in a game. I'm like I said, I'm there for an hour and a half. You're paying me $90, $100. There's no
you're
reason.
getting rich.
Yeah, there's no reason for me to get worked up. But I understand why these being now a cross country coach, you're with these kids for hours every day, countless hours, blood, sweat, and the tears, the frustration. So when we get in a game and things start to go haywire and the game gets tight and the coach gets worked up, I'm not going to get worked up. I understand where he's coming from as long as he doesn't cross that line. And I think for the most part, that works out. And that's what coaches want. They just want somebody to listen to them. Some of them may go too far sometimes, but you keep that level head. And I think that's what helps me, whether it's working at the prison or being on the county board or the school board, is just never getting too emotional about something, just kind of trying to think it through. So,
Brad, we appreciate you coming on. It's been fun. I'm going to say this, Russ. Brad gave Darren Kinnard a hard time because Darren was on for, a while. Brad, you said you'd be about 15 minutes, bud.
how long have I been?
About 4 hours.
Oh,
About 4 hours.
well, it's probably getting past his bedtime.
I know. He's
more
probably
than
going to.
likely.
He has a curfew, I'm sure, in Jefferson
sure
County.
I'm
Scott
sure he
Gamber's
probably-
already texted me 3 times.
I'm
Want to know where he's
probably
at.
does.
Is he home yet?
No, I appreciate you guys, having me on. I enjoyed this. I think what
Did
you
you know
do and what Darren does. I'll say this, as an official, especially on Friday nights, the first thing we do when we get back in the car is because we haven't heard we don't know what the scores are. We don't know who's winning. We don't know what's happening. So the first thing we do is we're getting on our phones to see what you're putting on, to see what Darren's putting on. Who is that? Chris Dexter does some stuff, I believe, does some scores. So the first thing we're doing, we're not going to WSIL or Channel 12. We're getting on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever.
It's all changed.
And we're checking
this has changed.
Yes, the phone has changed everything, but it's a way to keep. I can be in touch with whatever's going on. Even if I'm out of town on vacation, because of what you're posting and doing, I can see it.
I haven't had a chance to do this yet, but how many point buck is that? Because you're a big hunter. Now, I've killed a couple deer.
Right.
I've killed a couple deer.
Okay, that's a pretty nice deer. So that's that's a 10-pointer. That's a nice deer.
It's a nice buck.
That's a good one. Travis, you're a rookie hunter, right? So
he's a crossbow twice. He's a crossbow.
So what is a good deer for you is not going to be a good deer for me.
Sure.
But some guys get hung up on that of like, hey, I've got to shoot one like that, or if you shoot one and it's not like that, they're judgmental. To me, a trophy is what you make of it.
That's right.
If you've never killed a 6-point buck that's this big and you shoot one and you're excited about it, well, guess what? It's a trophy to you.
Have you ever seen someone kill as much chips and salsa as I did at Chili's?
Well, it was unlimited, and they about cut us off. It was unlimited.
They about cut us off!
It was unlimited, and we about got cut off.
If Ross and I went, and Doc, we should.
I'll say this: we was the only table with unlimited chips and salsa that had 3 orders of chips and unlimited chips and salsa, because my kids are like Travis.
Hey, what's his name? Bryson DeChambeau. Bryson was the waiter. He told him
the golfer.
Bryson
DeChambeau, the golfer, was there.
That's what you thought his name was. He told the table, hey, for a starter, you don't have to pick chips and salsa because they already have one. Your 2 daughters.
My daughters did it anyway. We go to La Fiesta, and you'll probably edit this out. We go to La Fiesta.
Starting to broadcast.
And they bring over, and hey, maybe we'll do another plug for La Fiesta. You can get some money from them. But most people get the little dish of salsa.
What do you guys got?
When my kids come, when I take my girls up there, they bring over a pitcher of salsa and they'll sit it at the table and leave it there because they get tired of coming back. And when my daughter was this tall, 3 years old probably, ran out of salsa, she would just walk up there and I need some more salsa. She said it like that too.
You need some more salsa?
More salsa? I don't know why she said it like that,
That's
but
good.
I think she did. I think she did. But yeah, they're salsa nuts. So Travis took us over there to get chips and salsa. I don't know. We had about 10 gallons of it, I think.
Good. I love to eat. It's a sport to me. I'm good at it.
That
met my dad.
My other dad, Dave.
Oh,
my other dad,
Dave.
We have a thing where.
Do you know my other dad, Dave?
We take pictures of food. So, because I love to eat. Travis obviously loves to eat. Big Dave loves to eat.
Big Dave loves to eat.
So we just take pictures of food and we'll send it, no caption, and then you got to guess, where you're at. So Travis, when he was on the school board, we went to a place in Chicago called the Erie Cafe.
Oh my! How big's the steak I ate?
That steak was.
I'm not joking.
It was every bit of this big. I mean, it was
I bet I
bigger.
ate a 30
It was
ounce
bigger
steak,
than
seriously.
it
I'm
was
not
bigger
joking.
than the plate. And Travis and Dave, they like to talk a lot. He's doing something perfect for him right now.
Yeah.
So
It comes natural.
this waiter comes up to us, and of course Travis is talking. I don't know what he's talking to him about. Like
John Metzger there?
Yeah, John was there.
John Metzger. John Metzger.
So after Travis talks to this guy for like 45 minutes, he gets us a tour of this place.
Oh yeah, we got to see what's his
So
name?
this guy takes Travis and I down some steps through the kitchen into the cellar of the restaurant that we're in. And come to find out, it was an old speakeasy when Al Capone was running around. It was really cool. And they had rooms down there, and they had like little trap doors. So when the cops would come in, they would alert them down there, and they, whoever was down there drinking or whatever, prohibition, they would get out of there. But we would have never known that if he wouldn't have talked to this guy so much and somehow gets us to go down there.
I've sold a few cars in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so weeks in
He was,
Benton.
he was late today. He's still in the car.
He's still not in the lead for the month, though.
Come on, the month just started, bud.
Oh,
Hey, your last question was 12 minutes ago. Brad
okay.
Wilson, we appreciate
Thank you.
No, all kidding aside, we appreciate you coming on. I'm sure Russ and I will have you on again the next 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, there's enough guests here in Southern Illinois that we would be going for a very long time.
Yes.
Well, here's what I think you need to do: just show up at a game
Yeah.
and interview me, like halftime of the game or something. We'll do an in-game interview.
We like to have people come here.
Okay. Well, you're not as good then, because true story, and I'm leaving. I'm leaving. East
7:30 you were supposed to be done.
East St. Louis. I'm doing a playoff game at East St. Louis
Oh,
3 years
Story
ago.
time.
A reporter on the sideline in game. The game is going on, is trying to interview me while the game is going on.
East St. Louis just threw a
So-
interception.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
You're welcome.
Peace out.
All right, now welcome to our final segment. It's been long-winded today.
7 hours in.
But we got Cale Maurer, Mount Vernon basketball player. They're pretty loaded this year with a lot of guys coming back. Cale, you want to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Mount Vernon so far?
Yeah, so like they said, I'm Cale Maurer. I am 3-year starter. I've been the leader of the team for quite some time now, for 2 years actually. That's kind of we're pretty good this year. We've got a lot of returning guys that were key players for us last year, like David Barnes. Our point guard's back, LJ, he's back.
For those that don't know, who's LJ?
He's Lucas Selvey Jr. He is a junior. And Eli Pro, senior this year. And then we got a lot of role guys that are really going to help us out this year.
All right, Cale, you guys are 2-0. You start off the season, a couple of big wins. Tell us a little bit how it's going so far.
Yeah, it's going really good. We beat Triad first of the year, and then we beat Muscuda the second game. We were supposed to play Collinsville. Didn't end up happening because of the weather. But, yeah, it's going great. Our practices are amazing. They're going really good. The guys bring a lot of energy. The young guys do for us. So it kind of pushes us a little bit. Coach Cameron does a great job with the JV guys and getting them up in our stuff and really challenges us. And, yeah, it's...
You guys, obviously, jumping in, you guys are already getting into some big games. Playing Triad. that's a sectional championship team from last year. They returned a lot of their guys from last year at the Thompsons. You got to play Muscuda. Muscuda's a solid club. 3A's loaded. And you guys played a lot of those top 3A teams. And then guess what? You jump into conference play this Friday, and then you got Alton. Just talk about how that helps you guys and just the factor of getting that experience.
It really, we want that challenge. We want to have the hardest schedule because once it comes down to those tough games, we've already played in them all year long. And we don't want to play lesser competition because it doesn't prepare us at all. So that's really the main reason, because we want to be prepared and we want to play the best because, we want to be considered the best, so we play the best.
We had Callahan Roper. I don't know why I keep doing that. He says I'm the last person ever. We had Callahan Roper on a couple weeks ago. You've played against him since you were little. Obviously a Marion guy, Mount Vernon guy. Talk a little bit about the South 7. I grew up in Benton. The South 7 changed after my sophomore year of high school. My junior year, we were river to river. Mount Vernon stayed in the South 7. But going from the original South 7 to what it is now, the South 7 conference, I put it up there with anybody in the state. Every night, I don't care where you're going, is a tough matchup.
Yeah, we obviously Althoff independent now. They left us, but which is all right. We have Carbondale, great team, very very capable team, and they put us to the test every year. It doesn't matter how good they are or how much they don't have.
Sure.
They always put us to the test, and I like that. I want to have everybody against me. Like I like that kind of stuff.
You like the challenge, huh?
Yeah, I like a little bit of a challenge. And yeah, and like you got Marion, always almost sold out. Energy is insane, and then there's Centralia.
How do you feel about them, Cale?
It's the big one.
Look at that smile now.
I don't have any problems with them personally. Like on the court, obviously they're my rival, but off the court, it's just a game. But yeah, but we and then Cahokia, you never know.
Great athletes.
Great athletes. I heard they're pretty good this year, but that's just what people have been saying. Yeah, and they played with us in the first half last year, but second half we ended up pulling away. But yeah, you just never know. That's the beauty of it. You never know, and you have to bring your best every single night.
Just talk about. We had Kyle Cooper and Luke Cooper on, and you probably know who the Coopers are, and they're pretty big in Jefferson County. They talked about big game atmosphere, and you got to play in a lot of big games like we talked about earlier, but what's it like to, say, go up to Centralia and play that? You guys play them the 12th. What's it like to get play in that atmosphere?
It's crazy. I'm gonna be honest. It's a little, but if like my first time playing, there's a sophomore, go out, couldn't even hear myself think. It was so loud in there. And then junior year, I went back. I had a little more experience with it, so I was a little bit better. And I think this year it won't really bother me that much because I've experienced it a lot. But the atmosphere is like it. I don't think there's ever. I think that Centralia and Mount Vernon's rivalry is one of the biggest in Illinois, hands down. And the fans take it farther than what the players do. But yeah, it's an experience. I wish that every kid could experience that.
Let me ask this question, and I did it again. But thank God Dr. Young got the heat going. It was 12 degrees earlier. I saw you over there.
It was freezing.
It was freezing. You, like a lot of guys, myself being from Benton, I talked about Casey and Ethan McCommons. Casey's the defensive coordinator at Benton football. He was all-state player. His son was a two-time all-state football player. We talked about how cool it was with Luke and Kyle Cooper here last week. The family kind of bond type things. Talk about your dad played for Mount Vernon. He works in Mount Vernon School District. Now you play for Mount Vernon. How cool is that?
It's really cool because he kind of knows how everything goes. So he gives me a lot of great advice on how to play within Mount Vernon's system and how to deal with the outside noise like
Like the Barstool accounts?
Like, yes, that.
I mean,
like that.
I'm being honest. I had a
That's-
son go through Benton High School. I get it.
Yeah, I've had a lot of backlash for that, but it's whatever. I don't really pay attention to it, but and it's really helped me because with Creel kind of being on the staff now, Coach Creel.
You have like every great player from the last 30 years on your staff now. Coach Holloway was all state. I mean, Tim Holloway was a tremendous basketball player.
Oh, yeah,
if people
100%.
don't know. I mean,
100%.
Tim was a stud. You got Scott Gamber, who played. He played with your dad? Or is he?
Yes, for a year, I believe.
Okay. And then obviously the king. I mean, you got Doug Creel on staff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who else is on staff?
Brian Gamber. Yeah, he's our JV
You
coach.
just named every. Is Kent Williams your special assistant? I mean, my God.
No, he's at Schmidt.
I know where he's at. I know, I'm just kidding, but I mean, you've got a lot of great, talented former Mount Vernon Rams.
Yeah.
That's big.
And I am truly blessed to be around that kind of knowledge because you learn a lot. I mean, and I think that they have a little pressure on them because they were a part of good teams and they have a reputation to uphold, and that's what people don't understand. Like at Mount Vernon, we have a winning tradition. So if you don't win, you're not liked very well. But if you do win, you're liked well by your fans, but not by everybody else. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, and the fact that you have to win, and you have to win. Like, it's
There's no other choice.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just talking about that winning tradition, I mean, that's all you've known. And so you've never seen it where. What's going on?
Doc, I thought the heater broke. We're not editing that. Keep that. That's great. Loving it.
Anyways, but that winning tradition, I mean, you don't know anything else. I mean, so talk about just growing up at Mount Vernon and just that's all you know. What's it mean to you to be a Ram?
It means everything, honestly. I am truly, truly blessed and to go to Mount Vernon. I've always wanted to be a Ram. Ever since I went and watched like Kwani Rudd and Amir Span, them dunking and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and even games at the old high school. My dad was a freshman
Jim,
girls.
I remember.
Yeah, we can get into that later. But my dad was a freshman girls coach there, so we would go to every basketball game, girls and boys, at Mount Vernon, and my cousin played. But yeah, it's that winning tradition. It's always what I've known and what I've always wanted to be a part of. So
Mount Vernon's had an unbelievable tradition. It runs in your blood. Let me ask you this: I asked you a minute ago about your shirt, and I put Cal Roper on the spot a little bit about this a few weeks ago. What's your plans after high school? Do you know yet? I mean, would you like to keep playing?
Oh yeah, 100%. I want to play as long as God will allow me to. But I'm not counting out baseball. I mean, I pitch for Mount Vernon, and we will have a good season this year. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's whatever God has for me, because I worried about it a while back, and my dad was there to say, hey, it's just going to work out, and I believe that it will, and I don't know.
Fair enough. Thanks for being honest.
Just talk about. I mean, Mount Vernon as a whole is a good athletics program, and
Sure.
just talk about getting to play with all these athletes. I mean, you mentioned all the basketball guys, Dave, LJ, all those guys, but also on the baseball diamond, you got Trevor didn't play last year. Unfortunately,
McClure's a freak athlete.
But you got to play with Trevor, right? I mean, just talk about all the athletes and all the bonds you get to grow there.
Is he like LeBron? We're first naming him. We just call him Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor McClure. He's just Trevor.
Is he throwing about 97 now?
He's low 90s, I think.
Gosh.
I don't know that for sure. I haven't seen him throw in a while, but
Tremendous athlete.
yeah.
Is he back for back? No, he's not. No basketball, right?
No, he's not playing.
No more basketball.
No, he's not
okay.
playing. But he will be back for this baseball season. Yeah. The bonds that I've created, like Dave and LJ, they're some of my best friends. The good part is, off the basketball court, we all like each other, have great friendships. So I think that kind of translates to, and like our alumni has a great way of giving back to us. Like NJ Benson plays at DePaul. He comes back every summer and works our basketball camp for the little kids. And he actually purchased our and donated our travel gear this year.
That's awesome.
And that was a tremendous ask of him, and he
Sure.
and he did it. So yeah, just our alumni is very, very good, and very good to our program as well as others. But yeah, it's honestly a true thing to have.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, you just got done, graduated from Benton High School. You're at SIU now. Doc graduated from Benton High School. You'll be graduating from Mount Vernon. I graduated from Benton like 7,000 years ago. But I have a wife that teaches in Benton. These smaller towns, and it's funny. So you might not have been here yet, but when I got out of SIU, I lived all over the country in way bigger cities. In Southern Illinois, this is funny. Mount Vernon's thought of as this huge city, 20,000 people. I lived in major cities where 20,000 people was a neighborhood.
Yep.
Was a neighborhood, and that in Southern Illinois, though, people are like, "Oh my God, Marion's got 24,000 people." You know, I mean, Mount Vernon's thought of as this huge area, and there's 24, 25, 28,000 people. But for us down here, that's a big. You're thought of as the big city. You know, Mount Vernon's up here, Marion's
City.
down here, the King City. You know, to talk a little bit about that. There is extra pressure. You're at a bigger town. People think more. You're a bigger school. I mean, you're a 3A basketball program. You know, I mean, football, you're a 4 or 5A football program. Same with baseball, with track. I mean, there's more athletes. There's more opportunities.
Yeah, we definitely are. We definitely have more opportunity. Our school is huge, and I guarantee you think of it, we have it. We have everything.
You've got technology. Your athletics are high. Your academics are high. I mean, you send kids to colleges every year, not just for sports, but for academics. I mean, Mount Vernon is a big school and a lot happening.
Yeah, and
It's in Dave's district.
there is
That's big.
there is that added pressure because you get people from don't want to throw shade or anything, but from Woodlawn and Waltonville and Weber, you get that, and they have their own mindset, which is fine, nothing wrong with that, but we are looked at as a town that sort of has it all, and that's not really the case, to be honest with you.
It's added pressure.
It is, but I think our school and our coaches do a very, very good job of teaching that, as we're Mount Vernon and we pride ourselves to be not really higher, but
A lot of expectations.
yeah, we set
Sure.
higher expectations for our students and our athletes.
You know, just kind of shifting gears, and you mentioned the Woodlawn, the Webbers, the Waltonvilles, but your senior group and just like the junior senior group of the Jefferson County right now, and it's a lot of talent there. I mean, you got Cale, yourself, you got Luke McKay over there at Woodlawn, Kyle Cooper, Kylan Moser, Nathaniel Marr. I could just list off for days, and it's just a lot of talent right now. And Jefferson County is a good basketball county. What's that mean to you to be a part of that group?
It honestly means a lot because those guys are going to go do great things, and I have no doubt about that. I've known them, played against them since Pee Wee, kindergarten. It's been a long time, and I know myself. I try to be the best version of myself, on and off the court, and it's a real thing to have everybody competing against each other. I think that they see other people's success and say, "Well, I want to be where they're at.
Sure.
So what can I do?"
It drives you.
Yeah. What exactly? What can I do to get to where I want to be?
Let me ask you this question. We've kind of talked about the different things. You know, you're playing at Mount Vernon. Your dad played at Mount Vernon. You've been in a very successful program, and how much is it important for you that we're not going to let people down? We're going to keep this going. We're going to keep this tradition going. I mean, we won a South 7. I talked about Rich Heron, who's a great family friend of ours. You know, what did we say, 11? 11 South 7 titles that'll never be touched. Rich, as a coach, had 11 South 7 titles. I mean, how big would it be for you to have a South 7 title your senior year with your name next to it?
It'll be very, 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 very accomplishing for me because obviously we tied last year and fell short the year before. So, and I think we have the group to get over that hump. And I'm playing in one of the best conferences in Southern Illinois and in the whole state.
Sure.
Yeah, and with the competition, it and kind of like the rivalries that happen and just who you play, it means a little bit more than what people think.
Sure.
You almost want to win the South 7 title more than a regional title sometimes. I mean, like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of bragging rights there, aren't there?
Yeah. 100%.
I'm sure. You know, you kind of touched on it, but me being a Benton Ranger, I mean, if you cut me open right now, it's maroon. It's not red. But I want you to touch a little bit on it because I'm sure eventually in that seat we'll have people that wear red, probably a little further west of Mount Vernon. Okay,
A little north.
little. Talk a little bit about that rivalry, Centralia and Mount Vernon.
Well, it's intense sometimes. We've had numerous times in the past. Like I've heard stories in the '90s and early 2000s of the old Trout gym.
Didn't they have to play one time with no fans?
I don't know.
I'm serious.
That might have happened, but yeah, it was
I mean, people are like,
intense. Yeah, they're fighting in the parking lot. And, yeah,
I love it.
It's I like to be part of it just because you can say that you're a part of it. But yeah, off the court, great guys. Honestly, I have no problems with them, and it's just at the end of the day, it's really just a game. People kind of hype it up to where, and then you're like, oh yeah, we're playing Centralia. This is gonna be a great game, and you kind of just go out there and you just have fun. I always just have fun with it because that's just what I've always been taught to do. Just go out there and play hard and have fun.
I'm going to shamelessly promote Russ. It was his question next, but I'm stealing this one from him because I'm going to shamelessly, sorry, after 17 hours, it gets tough, promote what Russ is doing with Ballin' for God. He didn't even know this, but I have a tendency to get stuff out of people. You talked about how cool it was. You know, Russ comes to games. He's videoed you dunking basketballs before, blocking shots, making jump shots. And you talked about someone had seen that before. How cool is it? Because I'm old. I'm talking to you guys that are young. Makes me have a little energy, you know. But how cool is it to see when Russ comes to a game and you're on Ballin' for God and there's a video clip of you dunking a basketball or blocking a shot or someone on your team making a big shot?
I personally enjoy it because I know what he's doing is wonderful, and I really appreciate you making the highlight reel that you did for me. I really do. I appreciate you coming to our games and getting your sort of brand, I guess, out to more people, because if like the talent and the big games that happen around here will 100% grow everything for you, and yeah, it's just, and it kind of gets me a little excited to put on a show.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm like, I'm on camera. Like, when I obviously try to be the best every night, but it just gives you a little more edge when you know somebody is watching.
For sure, a little added incentive.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I mean, I talked to Travis about this. I love football. I played football for 4 years at Benton. I didn't really play. I mean, I was on the bench. But
Russ, you were part of it.
I was part of it. But I played football, but I mean, basketball has always been my favorite. I mean, growing up, my dad, he always took us to like Glacier basketball games, and at the El Dorado Holiday
Glacier
Tournament.
beat Cairo this year.
Glacier did beat Cairo, but
Just to get that out there.
at the El Dorado Holiday Tournament, the Harrisburg basketball games, and then obviously I grew up at Benton. But basketball is just so fun to be around. I mean,
I love basketball.
you spoke on it. I mean, the Centralia, Mount Vernon, those atmospheres are wild. I mean, I went to your guys' first game against them in a year at home last year, and you guys won. And luckily you guys have it's all in a circle. I mean, the parking's good. So I didn't have to walk too far. But when you guys played them at the Salem tournament, I mean, I had to walk probably a couple blocks, and it was at I had to park at some church, and
Praise the Lord.
It's just, I just love it whenever I have to walk far to get to the gym, because I mean that means it's
a big crowd.
Yeah,
That means you're gonna get a bunch of likes.
That's essentially it.
But it just means it's gonna be fun, and
For sure.
and
You don't want to go to a game with 12 people. You want to go to a game with 2,000 people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you love playing in that, because like Travis mentioned, I mean, there's big schools in the South 7, and it means something to win that South 7 title. So I mean, just getting to play in that atmosphere, it just must be awesome.
Yeah, it's It really is amazing because when you run out, people booing you and people cheering for you, and during the warm-ups they're saying all kinds of stuff. But
We can't repeat on Balling for God.
yeah, I don't really hear much of it, but I've been told that
Colorful.
They're
Colorful words.
colorful words that that are meant to discourage you.
You know,
Yeah.
I can kind of tell just talking to you here. Do you go to church yourself?
Yes.
I can tell, man. Did you know this already?
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah. So, do you have a little testimony you can give on here? I mean, is that something you're comfortable with? How God plays a part in your life?
Yeah, I will.
Nothing like putting you on the spot.
Yeah,
We're good about that.
God has done so much for me, and I am so thankful that He has put me in places to where I can grow and meet new people and make connections, because I really do believe what I did over the summer was because of Him. I'd never ever would have thought that I would be playing in that league, never. But he put me in that place to get better and to meet people that I needed to meet. And one of my best friends right now, Bowden Williams, shout out Bowden, Owasso High School, Oklahoma.
Wow.
I hope you have a great year. We became great friends because we just spent so much time together. And he was a devout Christian. We would have Bible studies every weekend.
Wow.
And practice.
That's awesome.
And
This is the best part of the broadcast. We're 12 hours in.
yeah, and he's just done so much for me, and he's definitely put me through trials, and which I just put my faith in him, and it's honestly hard to put into words because it's just so awesome.
Yeah, it's very encouraging to hear that from somebody, especially high school students. I mean, the world is.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
I'm raising one. You guys are in a tough spot in life, man.
It's very encouraging to see all these guys that put God first. I mean, I knew some of the Massac County guys that put God first. But I mean, like, talking to Jude Harmon after I went to go video them Massac County this past week. I videoed one game, and I can't tell you how much he really thanked God so much. It wasn't about him, and Silas Kruger from Vienna, Nathaniel Marlowe, yourself. There's just a lot of guys that in it that
Callahan Roper did when he sat there.
Yep, Callahan Roper, and they put God first, and it's very encouraging to see that from other guys. And how's that to know? Hey, I got this guy, and he's going to encourage me. How does that help you in your walk?
It really does. It really does help because you're instantly being held accountable for everything. If you fall into something, they're there to help you get out and lead you to where to be closer to God, and I think it really does help because if you have nobody to talk to, I mean, obviously prayer is the most powerful thing, but if you just have no one else to talk to and no one else to pray for you, I mean, it kind of leaves you to where I'm alone, and it makes it hard to fully trust in God, because as humans we're impatient. We're impatient, not impatient.
I'm impatient.
Yeah, and we want it done right now. And to have someone that is an athlete and goes through kind of the same things that you go through, it helps you 100% so much more than just to be by yourself.
Awesome. Russ, last question for Mr. Maurer.
We already hit on that. You got some big games this weekend, but I mean, just as you're going throughout the season, just talk about how excited you are. I mean, I'm excited, and I'm just a viewer. And just talk about just getting to play and how thankful for you are and all that.
I'm very, very thankful because I didn't think that I would be 100% this year because I had a knee injury in the summer that lasted 4 months, and I was like, I kept telling my dad, I'm like, there's no way.
Power of prayer.
Yeah, and I begged and begged and begged God to heal me, and He did. I don't have hardly any knee problems anymore. Still trying to get my strength back a little bit, but yeah. As far
Can
as
you still dunk?
oh yeah, yeah. Hopefully I get a few of those this year, but yeah. As far as how excited I am for the season, we have a great group. We have a lot of returners who have great experience and are great players. And I think we're going to do very, very good things this year.
Well, we really appreciate it. I mean, you're coming here after practice. You're here.
You waited 2 hours.
Waited 2 hours. And I just want to thank you for coming on because a lot of guys are busy around this time of year. And Kyle, we had to get him on over Thanksgiving break. So we're just thankful that your schedule worked out well, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
And
I can tell he's been raised right because there's some kids, if we ask them to do this kind of stuff, man, I mean, listen, I'm in car sales. I can sell, I can sell your socks to you. and I got a dad that's a politician, so people could say, it's talking's in our blood a little bit, So here's reality. People make time for what they want to make time for in life. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I
mean,
agree.
I know guys that won't do certain things, but they'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go hunting. But there's other things that are like, if you want something bad enough, you'll make time for it.
Exactly.
I like pizza. I'll make time for it.
Me too.
You know what I mean? So I think it's really awesome that you as a young man, how old are you?
17.
17 years old. You drive down here from Mount Vernon. I'm sure you had a tough practice today. It's really cool that you took the time to do this because you didn't have to. I mean,
I don't mind.
that to me shows to me as an old guy, you guys will be here one day, especially after we have our segment to get Doc Young a date. But you guys will have kids. But as a dad who has an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old, it's really cool for me to see that you could make any excuse you want, but you took the time to come down here, and that's awesome.
well, we just want to say thank you again. Travis he really put the nail in the coffin because I agree with him every bit there. But
Yeah, your check's in the mail. We'll send you the $3 we told you.
but just thank you, and we just wish you good luck as the season goes on. And yeah.
All right. That's Cale Maurer.
We really like this episode. I mean, this episode is great. I mean, it was. I think it might be the longest one yet. We don't have
18 hours, is it, Rose?
It feels like it was. We haven't tallied it up yet, but it's gonna be a long one, and we really appreciate you guys sticking here with us because it was a great one. Got three guys that were just phenomenal. Cale Maurer, just sharing his testimony.
Cale Maurer's testimony for a 17-year-old young man was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't want to get emotional, but I'm telling you, it was awesome.
Yeah. And Darren shared a little bit. Brad shared a little bit.
Yeah, Brad shared. I mean, Brad's a preacher by heart. I mean, he's an evangelist over there, man. I don't care what he says. I mean, Brad Wilson can lead people.
Yep. And so we really appreciate you guys coming on because it was just fun stuff. And let's just reemphasize, what was our trivia question again?
The All-Stars and Stitches trivia question was, when was the last time someone was a back-to-back MVP of the Christopher Turkey Tournament? Gage Peterson oh my God, Fenwick scoring a touchdown. Fenwick scoring on East St. Louis. Third quarter. Fenwick's beating East St. Louis. 6A title game. Don't edit this either, Doc Young. When was the last time someone was when was the last time someone was a back-to-back MVP of the Turkey Tournament? Gage Peterson this year and last year. When, going way back. If you answer it, you can be a guest on here with us. We got merch, though.
Yep.
We got swag.
Free swag.
Free swag. It's going to be awesome. You're going to start seeing our stuff out and about. But All Stars and Stitches is the trivia sponsor now. Give Big Dave a call at 435-555-555-5555. What's that number again?
435-555-5555.
That's it, man. Answer the trivia. Russ, take us home.
Just a little. I don't know if you know this, but Waltonville's they've won the title 3 straight years.
Spartans are big, man.
But guess what? 3 straight MVPs. Kyle Cooper won it his sophomore year, and then Gage Pearson's won it the last 2 years. Obviously, Cooper's not there anymore. He's at Woodlawn. But that's just special to have it 3 straight years of 3 straight Waltonville MVPs at that tournament.
It's been special. Well, we've talked about it a bunch, and I had some guys kind of give me a hard time about, why are you guys talking about Jefferson County so much? I said, we're talking about Jefferson County so much because they're winning.
Yes.
If you win a lot, we will talk about you.
Exactly.
That's why we're talking. And, I mean, Cale Maurer on this, on the big show here on the podcast for Ballin' for God, he'll talk about how special it is to play for Mount Vernon. His dad played there. He played there. Talking to the Coopers last week, talking to Luke and Kyle Cooper. We'll have Nathaniel Marlowe is going to be on the show in the future.
Peterson.
Gage Peterson's been on the show before. So, I mean, it's a big deal what's going on. Jefferson County basketball, boys basketball is tremendous right now. And I'm something that I always forget to do, but get out there. Ballin' for God, BALLIN, number 4, God. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok for Terry Gower, TikTok. Is there any other socials I don't know about? Is there something he probably knows about? Something. There's a website. What's the website?
BallinforGod.com.
BallinforGod.com, Russ.
Yep.
Yeah, BallinforGod.com's a good one.
My go to Truth Social.
What?
My go to Truth Social.
That's his, what?
Yeah.
What'd you just say?
Truth Social.
What's Truth Social?
You don't know what that is?
I have no clue. What is it?
It's Donald Trump's.
The Donald. Listen, I've been here 18 hours, guys. I'm sorry. It's been a great time. I love the Milwaukee light, by the way. I mean, I can't see. I won't be able to drive out of here, but it's bright. I mean, the Milwaukee light. Doc, whose light is that? It's your dad's. That's the greatest.
Another one.
What's your dad's name?
Jeremy.
Jeremy Doc Young. Jeremy Young's light, tremendous. Jeremy, we really appreciate your light. Hope you don't have to arrest a bunch of people tonight. Doing a great job.
Yeah, he said he's getting another one.
Is he still a cop?
Yeah.
Ren Lake. At Ren Lake.
Loving it.
He's keeping Trey safe while he's at school.
Trey safe. Unbelievable. It's doing great. I'm excited, dude. I love basketball. I love this time of year.
Goreville Invitational right now.
Goreville Invitational's going on. When this comes out, Benton's got a game
Against AJ.
against AJ. AJ had a tough game with Goreville, on Tuesday night.
How about-
Monday night? Don't even know what night it is. On Monday night they did.
Let's talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
Before I know we've been going on for so long,
18 hours.
But what about Nick King? And what about Caleb Gore? Caleb Gore with the buzzer-beating 3 at the end of the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That put AJ up 38-35.
Right.
And then guess what? Nick King had 22 of his game-high 35 points in the fourth quarter alone.
Nick King had 22 points in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Holy Moses. Dude is an athlete.
They won 64-55.
Yeah, I was there for the first half, and then I'm old, and I'd already been there because I keep the book for Benton varsity basketball, just so you know, folks. And so if you see me and I'm yelling or something, you can get on to me. I'm not supposed to yell. That's why Coach Weinman makes me keep the book so I don't get thrown out. But I watched the first half. Obviously did the Benton-Harrisburg game, and then I watched the first half. Nick King is a great athlete.
Yes.
I mean, he's got some rise, some bounce. I don't know what the kids call it now. He's got lift. I mean, he's got some springs. He's a nice player.
Good kid.
Good kid. And then you throw in there Garrett Church and Green and Lands and Lawson Land. And then
Todd Tripp.
Todd Tripp's he's a beast. Todd Tripp's a beast. I harassed him last night about not being on the show yet. We'll get him on.
We'll get him on. He'll be a good one.
He'll be a good one.
But if you want to just check out some of those highlights from Monday night's game.
Russ has been busy. Russ has been busy doing the highlights.
I wasn't there.
No, but you were been in a ton of other games lately, Russ.
But Big DK was there, and he posted some of the clips from it. He posted he's going to be posting a recap. I think it should be up by then. But he posted some highlights from Nick King's fourth quarter. And make sure to, as much as we talk about our stuff, it's not just about us, it's about God, but also make sure you go check out riverradiosportscentral.com. That's where a lot of my stuff goes as well.
It does.
It's not just, hey.
We're not just us.
We're
We're okay with promoting everybody. A lot of people won't do that. We'll promote everybody.
Yes, and make sure to check out the Southern.
Check out the Southern. I sat next to John Holman last night. John Holman does a great job. John would love to come on sometime.
John's a good guy. I talked to him the other day, and he's just fun. And, he supplied me a scorebook whenever I need it.
All these guys. Here's the thing. You and I have a lot of fun doing this, but here's why we don't mind to have these other guys on here with us. They all have one thing in common with us. We love Southern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we do. We love this area. I know I bleed maroon, but right after that, I bleed 618, man. I mean, it means a lot to promote the boys and girls, the men and women of our area.
Yes, I completely agree. And just make sure you go check out all those guys because they put in hard work.
They do a great job.
John, he drove all it obviously didn't happen because of the cancellations, but John was going to drive all the way up to Jacksonville to go cover Marion at their tournament up there. And obviously Darren, he's driving all over the place. He drove to Florida to cover some football for them. So just make sure to go check out the Southern and all their articles, and check out River Radio Sports Central for all Darren's recaps, and I get some recaps on there. And also go check out Field Focus, Ryan Ziegler.
Yeah, he's coming on.
He's coming on next week, and he'll be a good guest. He has a lot to talk about. He's a good guy, prison guard, but also he takes pictures for the kids and completely free. It's not like he charges.
Sure.
And
awesome.
It's awesome. He gives pictures to the Southern. He allows me to use them. He allows Darren to use them. That's what you love about Southern Only Sports. Everybody coming together to work together.
Final thought, Russ?
Just we gotta share the verse of the week.
Oh my gosh, Russ! Here's the thing: if I don't say final thought, you'll be on here till 11.
Let's share the verse of the week.
You'll be on here till 11. My hair's a mess. Someone just told me.
So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
Verse of the week. This is from.
Is it in Psalms?
It's not Psalms.
It's been Psalms last 3 weeks.
I really thought about doing it just to kind of go with the
figured you'd
trend.
go Psalms, but
but
who is it?
We're going James.
James.
And
Best 5 chapters in the Bible in my book. I'm
a-
serious. I love those. James hits home to me because I'm a selfish punk.
that's good. No.
That's not good. Not good.
It's good that you
James is
feel convicted. You know what
For sure,
I mean?
I'm definitely convicted, man. My whole life's conviction. Here we go.
Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify hearts, you double-minded. Be wretched and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned into mourning, and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will exalt you. James 4, verses 8 through 10.
I love James. I mean, it's great verses and hits home. James, I challenge anybody that watches us to read the book. I'm telling you, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
I can't speak because I've been on here for 18 hours. My favorite.
Yep. So yeah.
Verse of the week. That's great, man.
Verse of the week, and
You know, I'm going to say this. I told you 18 times to bring it home, but we do the show for 2 reasons. And I say this, and I'm not trying to be cliched. Doc Young's telling me that the camera's going to probably break because we've been on so long. But thanks for the Milwaukee Light. The love of God, first and foremost, and then sports. I mean, without the Lord in your life and things that he's brought me in and out of, we wouldn't be here right now.
no doubt.
No, so it's an honor to get to do this. And I say this all the time. I know you're paying me thousands of bucks to be here, but I do it for free, Russ. I do it for free, my man.
Yeah, I mean, they don't talk about what ESPN's flooding into this.
They're flooding us, man.
Well, we just want to thank you guys for watching this. You guys stuck out a long one. If you're still
Stuck it
here.
out, man.
I mean, but it's a good one. I think this every week it feels like, hey, it gets better. Oh yeah, we got this guy coming on. It's getting better.
I've got a bunch of names I haven't even told, and I know they're going to come on. So
So yeah, it's gonna be awesome, and thank you for sticking it out. And we hope to see you back here next week. Josh Kinn's been working on a table for us,
Josh is working on a table. We're going to start standing up.
and so we're hoping that we're able to stand up. And the guests, guess what? They're still sitting down. No, we're joking, but the guests, they'll have the couch, and hopefully we'll be in a new setup by then. Josh is working on a table, and yeah, we'll catch you guys next week.
Wren Lake Cabins in the Woods. These are unbelievable. Unbelievable.
They got 14.
That's unreal.
Goodness.
Russ is coughing on the mic.
Went the whole show without coughing. Now I'm coughing.
Unbelievable.
Well,
See ya.
see you guys later.